Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
I know that we have discussed the possibility of the Seahawks taking a quarterback. And for the most part, Bump, we've looked at like day 3 guys, right? Maybe a third round guy, late day 2. But it's been names like, well, what about Tyler Shuck? What about Dylan Gabriel? What about Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, who's going to go much later? But what about Quinn Ewers, who's going to go much later? Because we just felt like, what with especially the re-addition of Drew Lock, it felt incredibly unlikely the Seahawks would take a quarterback early. It's not an especially strong quarterback class. I know that John Schneider has said beauty is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to this class, but we all know what the needs are, right? Yeah, you need to find your franchise answer, but you need a guard. You need to get that run game going. You need to find an answer at corner if you don't extend Reek Wolin. You need, you have other things that you need to do. However, I'm going to reintroduce it. Now 24 hours away from round 1. What if the Seahawks take a quarterback earlier than we all think? ESPN's Brady Henderson asked that very question in his latest column up on ESPN.com right now. Asked at the league meetings if Seattle could draft a quarterback, Mike McDonald said, quote, "I think so, but my answer to that's going to be yes every year. I think you've just got to be willing to take a quarterback. We'll see. It's got to be the right person, the right opportunity, and if it comes to life, then we will do it." So what's changed? Well, some intel, some hypothesizing from one Adam Schefter. Here's Adam.
They haven't used a first or second round pick on a quarterback since they took Rick Meyer in 1993. So we're talking about here over 30 years without a top pick on a quarterback. Let's see if general manager John Schneider changes that this year.
That is the second time this week alone that Adam Schefter has hypothesized that the Seahawks might take a quarterback.
I'm not buying it. Don't do it.
Oh, I'm drinking that Kool-Aid.
At 18, don't do it.
I added some sugar. I added lots of ice. You know, I like really icy drinks, and I started drinking that Kool-Aid.
I don't care if they haven't drafted a quarterback in the first and second round in 30 years. So what? The Saints ain't done it since 1971. Like, you have other things to do. And if you do get a quarterback, so be it. But I'm saying right now, don't do it. If you're going to grab a quarterback, grab it with number 52. The 52 pick in the second round, you got it from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only way that they're going to look at drafting a quarterback is if Shedeur Sanders slides, if Jackson Dart slides. So you got to get past New Orleans. You got to get past Pittsburgh. I don't think Shedeur gets past Pittsburgh if he is available. Maybe not even Jackson Dart. So you're hoping one of those guys are available. I'm saying don't do it. There's Grace Abel who might be available. O-line guy. Kelvin Banks from Texas, O-line. Matthew Golden, wide receiver. Donovan Izaraku. I'm sorry if I'm jacking your name up, young man. Edge from BC. Tyler Booker from Alabama. There are other things you need to do. Getting a quarterback at 18 would tell me that your priority is elsewhere. It's not about just getting the best player out there. You're trying to set yourself up for the future, which I get in the future. You can walk away from this draft and I'd be like, all right, well, they got their quarterback for the future. Hopefully, let's see. What if Sam Darnold works out? What if he looks good this first year? You don't have to force this right now. Don't do something just because you haven't done it in 30 years. Do what's best for your team. You have a quarterback. You paid him $30-something million. Let's see what happens there. If there's a quarterback late that you like, there's going to be Shuck. There's going to be Milroe. There's going to be Dylan. There are other guys that you can experiment with. The quarterback class is not that juicy this year. If it was last year's class and one of those 8-9 dudes were available, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and get it at number 18. You got other things to do. If you do get a quarterback, so be it. I'm not going to get mad at you. You don't care if I'm mad anyway. But there are other things that you need to do at 18.
Yesterday, I was running late to work. Today, I was as well, but we don't need to put that out there. Yesterday, I was running late to work. And why was I running late to work, Bump? Because I saw some smoke. And I saw smoke, and I thought, why is there smoke, a bunch of smoke on the side of the freeway? What's going on? And as I drove closer, you know what was there underneath the smoke? A fire. Because where there's smoke, Bump,
Oh my gosh.
there is always
you know how this
fire.
goes. There's smoke everywhere.
What's this? Adam Schefter,
Smoke everywhere.
a second time this week. Adam Schefter, the most well-connected man
Good for him.
in sports reporting, is saying, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the Seahawks do take a quarterback. Maybe they do it. Hey, here's John Schneider being asked about the quarterback room and whether it precludes them from taking a quarterback.
It doesn't preclude us from doing anything in the draft.
Interesting, John. Interesting.
I can
I'm
tell
seeing
you
smoke
anything.
in the distance.
Stacy, I got an
I'm seeing
ocean.
it.
I got
Where
an
are the
ocean that
flames?
Idaho borders that I'm gonna sell to you. There's an ocean out there. I'll give it to you for $50 right now.
I'm just saying.
Adam,
Where
I respect.
there's smoke,
let me talk.
there's
I respect
fire.
Adam Schefter because obviously he knows more than I do when it comes to these connections. He's wrong more than he's right when it comes to the draft. Most of these guys are wrong more than they're right. It's speculation season. He could be right, but what I'm saying is Seahawks don't do it. He could be right. I'm just telling him you don't need to draft a quarterback at 18.
They
You
don't.
have your quarterback. You got other things to do. There are quarterbacks that are going to be available later. Go ahead and do that. And also, we know Shefty, man. He gets calls. You think people don't call Shefty just to put stuff out there? I got a conspiracy theory that I'm going to talk about in 4 Down territory about all this draft stuff that goes on. You think people don't call Shefty? You think they don't call Yates, Lewis Riddick, all these dudes and put a little something in their ear and their job is to put it out there and make us buy it? He could be right. Okay, and I respect it because his Rolodex is deeper than mine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Hawks, you ain't got to do it, though. You don't have to do it.
They don't, and honestly, they shouldn't. Like, if I'm being me, Stacy, how I feel about the draft, I don't want to see a quarterback taken at 18 because that quarterback, in all likelihood, is going to be Jackson Dart, and I don't think Jackson Dart is going to start for you this year. I don't think that he has an immediate impact on your team. And let's say that he's starting for you next year. Does that make you automatically a Super Bowl team? I mean, sure, you could end up hitting on him in the draft, but he's going to be overdrafted at 18. If he is taken at 18, I promise you not a single draft analyst, and Bump, you know this, not a single draft analyst would have Jackson Dart as their 18th best player. Not a one.
No.
You know what I mean? So it would be an overdraft for sure. I don't think they should do it. However, I've started to change the way I'm looking at it and going, okay, well, I'm not in that room making a decision. The Seahawks can surprise people. Let's say it's not at 18. Let's say it's at 50-ish.
52.
What if it's Jalen Milroe?
That's what I said. Take him
And
at
that
52.
still might be too high. And I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to be there at 50 or 52.
I don't think Milroe.
I think he'll be off
Milroe's
the board early.
He's the 4th best quarterback, I believe.
I think he'll go
in
at like
this draft.
34 or 35.
But you got other guys. You got Kyle McCord. You got Will Howard. You have Dylan Gabriel. You got Shuck over there. You got other options. Guys are going to be available at 52. And because this isn't a quarterback needy draft, there's only really 2 to 3 teams that you can look at, maybe 4, that you say this team needs a quarterback. Cleveland needs a quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback. The Saints need a quarterback. The Steelers need a quarterback. After that, guys have their starters in place, and this draft isn't deep enough for someone to make that big of a reach. Quarterbacks get overdrafted every single year. That's just how the game goes. But it's all about circumstances, man. 4 teams really need a quarterback. Everyone else is good. You just paid your quarterback, brought in Drew Lock as well. Chill with number 18. Go ahead and draft a guard, a receiver, a linebacker, whatever the heck. You don't need that at 18. But if you do draft a QB at 18, of course, I will support you, and
Sure.
I will look at it through your lens and try to make sense of it.
Okay, then I want to practice this exercise right now. Let's pretend the pick is in at 18. Jackson Dart, 18 for the Seahawks. Tell me how you're feeling right now if that's the pick. If that's the pick.
If that's the pick, I'm thinking. See, here's the thing about that. This hypothetical situation we're in right now. I got to see what's happened before this. That determines like the other picks. That determines how I really feel about this pick. Like if Booker's off the board, Zabel's off the board, Loveland's off the board, Warren's off the board. Like there's some names we expect to be off.
Let's say Zabel isn't.
If Zabel isn't off the board, then I'm thinking you probably should have went that direction. You probably should have went that direction. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the game or in this draft right now. Jackson Dart, okay, is a project. That means that him and Drew Lock are going to battle. And it means that he's going to sit for at least a year and try to learn. And that means that Kubiak felt like he would be essential to the growth of this team. It also means that you're banking on that 3-year contract to be done with when it comes to Sam Darnold. Maybe after a year. That means that you don't trust Sam Darnold the way that well, no one really trusts Sam Darnold. You got 1 year, right? You got to prove it. It makes sense. I'm not. This is the way I operate.
I'm just being messy, Bump. I'm just being messy.
This is the way I operate. I look at both sides, right?
Okay.
I'm never the guy who sits in an argument and says I'm siding with this person just because that's my dude. Now, in public, I might, but when we get alone, I might be like, hey, bro, you was tripping on that one. All right, let me tell you what's going on.
Privately, you're having private Seahawks conversations.
Exactly. So I try to see it from where they're coming from, and that just tells me how they view their quarterback room and how they view the picks before them. That tells me that all the guys that they wanted before them were out of there. And their chart, their philosophy, the way they approached this draft was to go this direction if A, B, and C happen.
I think it tells me, let's say the hypothetical is that someone that you and I really like for this team. So maybe it's, Matthew Golden, maybe it's Gray Zabel, maybe it's Booker, and maybe it's someone who is either a pass catcher who could help that offense or an offensive lineman is available. It tells us one of these two things. Number one, that guy had health concerns. That guy had a health or character question the Seahawks could not get over. Okay. Two, it would make me wonder if there's pressure from someone outside of John Schneider, above John Schneider, to get a quarterback in the building. I do think John Schneider has an itch he'd like to scratch, which is taking more quarterbacks. I don't know that John Schneider is willing to pull the trigger at 18 for a quarterback. I really don't think. In fact, speaking of Adam Schefter, another report that we had from Adam Schefter was that the Seahawks were one of the many teams looking to trade back. So I don't think they're eager to trade up and take Shedeur Sanders or to pull the trigger on their quarterback in the first round. However, I do think that there is something within John Schneider that wants to take a passer, that wants to just see what happens, and that would love to do it more frequently than he has been. When does that start?
It's I think that it's an assumption, one, but it's a qualified assumption, I think, because we know how John likes to evaluate quarterbacks. Like, that's his thing. He loves evaluating quarterbacks. So it's an assumption, but it's a qualified assumption. I think that he's looking at this draft, and he has to approach it in the way, what makes my team better for next year? It's not down the road at this point. You have a defense that's pretty dang good, that I think is going to be a top 10 defense, potentially be a top 5 defense in this league. But you have an offense that needs some help. You went out and you got the most available, the most qualified free agent quarterback out there. You filled that void. You got that already. You need offensive linemen. You need more weapons on the outside. The defense is not going to be able to carry you throughout the whole season. But listen, he could just get that itch. He could wake up that morning and say, you know what? Jackson Dart or Sanders is available. Let's plan for our future. But I think that in this draft, you have to plan for the future. Obviously, you get all these picks. These are young guys. But your team has to be able to compete for the division right now. And I think competing for the division right now would mean getting the best football player available, not the best quarterback available. Again, I could understand if he did go get a quarterback, building for the future. But that 18 pick, you want him to be playing. When's the first game? Whatever the first weekend is in NFL football, you want him on the football field.
From the Mac and Jacks text line, the 206 says, what if they trade back and get Dart at 28 or 29? I just don't think Dart's going to be there at 28 or 29.
That's tough.
I think that someone will overdraft Dart. Will it be you? That's how you have to think of all these quarterbacks. Someone will overdraft Jalen Milroe. Will it be you? You can't sit back at 52 and wait for Milroe. He's not going to be there.
If they go back to 28, 29, I think your theory, which I think you're halfway joking, but you put it out there because you're a Matthew Stafford hater, that at 26, the Rams might go ahead and grab a guy.
Yes. Because
of Matthew Stafford's age. If they bounce back to 28, 29, Shedeur ain't going to be there. Dart ain't going to be there.
No, I think if they go back to 28, 29, you might be – that's when maybe you're taking – a pass catcher that would have otherwise, like maybe like the third wide receiver, someone like that's kind of like slipping under the radar. I don't know how Seahawks fans would feel. I know Mike Salk wouldn't love another first-round wide receiver. I don't know how other Seahawks fans would feel about a first-round wide receiver, but I could see that being the pick if they trade back that late. I could also potentially see an interior guy. So maybe Gray Zabel isn't available anymore, but that's when they feel okay taking a lineman because it's not someone at 18. It's someone that maybe they have a second-round grade on, and they can go, well, what's the difference between 28 and 35?
Moving back means you feel like you're going to be able to get your guy. We ain't tripping, but we also are going to pad our stats a little bit and get a second, third-round pick and get more shots at this whole thing. I would understand that moving back. But if they were to move back and Dart or Shedeur is available, which I highly doubt, that would make sense to me. But at 18, I'm like, man, get the best ball player.
I have something important to say. The Mac and Jacks text line also has a question. Several people have asked if I brought my lunchbox in today. Yes, I did. I am still a lunchbox person. I got my little bento box, and I brought it in for a second day. So I'm doing
2 for
a good job.
2.
Yeah. Curtis didn't have faith in me. Matt didn't have faith in me. Bump, did you believe that I would forget it or bring it?
No, I think you're going to forget it on Monday. There's too much time in between.
Now, did the lunch in that lunchbox make it past 9:55?
That wasn't part of the part of the conversation though. That wasn't part of the bet.
Can lunch be eaten before 10 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
We call that breakfast.
Yeah,
He brought a
that's
breakfast box.
It depends when you start your day. It depends when you start your day. For a lot of people, for a lot of hardworking adults, lunchtime can be at around 10 a.m. because they get up really early.
I remember watching every day Dave Ross, when he would host the morning news on our FM site, eat a salad at like 9:30 a.m. I'm like, salad at 9:30 a.m.? But then it's like, oh, he gets up at like 1 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
This
Someone
is
said,
lunch for
did it
him.
have food in it? It did. I did not cheat and just bring in an empty lunch box. I think that I'm gonna surprise all of you. And I'm going to bring it in Monday, and then I'm probably going to forget Tuesday. Like, once I get past the date that you don't think that I'll do it, I'm going to forget about it.
Then it's going to slip up.
Yeah. Seattle Sports is the home of the Seahawks and your home for the 2025 NFL Draft. Find us on the radio, the app, and our YouTube page for complete coverage of the Hawks' 5 top 100 picks. Coverage starts tomorrow at 4 p.m. with the John Schneider Show and continues through every Seahawks pick. Follow along via the Seattle Sports app. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Ron Francis told the media on Tuesday that new Kraken GM Jason Botterill will have the final say on all personnel and coaching decisions. What's the real headline?
But what if he also decides to overpay a bad goalie?
Well, that presents a problem.
Then you got...
That presents a big problem.
Thankfully, you've got a pretty solid goalie right now. So maybe you won't make that issue. And you already paid him, so it's fine. But Bump, do you believe this? Do you believe that
what?
Ron Francis will genuinely hand over final decision-making duties to Botterill?
I think so. And I think it's his turn, right? He was an assistant GM for the Penguins in 2009, interim in 2014, Sabres GM in 2017, assistant Kraken GM in 2021. This is the natural process, right? It's his time to shine. So I think so. Will he lean on him for advice every now and then? I think so. That's how teams work, even at the admin level, the GM level. You lean on people a little bit, but I think he has enough on his resume to where Ron should sit back and go. Drafted in the first round as well, played like over 480 games. He's gone through the process. It's his time to shine. So I think he will. I think Ron will step aside, but I also think that it will be collaborative at some times.
Here's that sound from Francis.
I feel strongly that if we're asking Jason to step into the GM chair and manage all those responsibilities, that he has to have final say in decisions. We will have discussions. I will give him my opinion. I know it won't be 100% we'll in agreement all the time, but we will have those discussions. But at the end of the day, he will make the decision, the final call in those regards. There's so much to do with the job, from players and agents and managing your staff and stuff. And this will free me up in some regards to do other specialized things where I can work closely with our young prospects.
And maybe he's better at that. Like, maybe Ron Francis is sincerely better at the scouting part of it, at building up the farm systems, and less at the making moves to win now part of it, which is the area where the Kraken have clearly not excelled. Here's Ron Francis on the controversial firing of Dan Bilesma.
It would have been easy, as Todd said, just to leave things and go forward. I just, when we're watching the games, I didn't like the way we were playing. I thought our team could use more structure, more details in our approach. And at the end of the day, we didn't get the results that we were expecting this year. So, the easy path is probably to sit there and say, okay, we'll try it all again next year and hope things go better. This is not an easy decision to make, but this organization is about trying to take some risks and do things, and we just felt that at this point we needed to make a change.
Just felt at this point we needed to make a change.
Hey, just be whatever you do it with conviction. And Mitch Love for head coach, man, local dude, man. I'm throwing his name out there every time I can. Mitch Love. Go get Mitch Love.
Headline Rewrites.
Headline number 2, just a day before the NFL draft, Jerry Jones says the Cowboys are currently working on pretty substantive trades. What's the real headline?
Can you blame Dallas sports fans for feeling uneasy anytime a GM in that town makes a trade? A little PTSD going on there.
Not at all. I mean, who you shopping? Dak, CD, Micah.
What's
those are your 3 heavy hitters over there. What are you going to do, Jerry? You need something big? Are you going to go out on a limb like Jimmy Johnson did back in the 90s, man? What are you going to do? And the hard part about it is you never know what Jimmy's going to do or say. You just can't. There's no like real pattern with this dude other than that he doesn't listen to anybody and he does his own thing. Good luck to Dallas fans, man. It's hard out there for you. Keep your head up.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the Mariners dropped their series opener last night to the Red Sox 8-3. Bryce Miller roughed up. Emerson Hancock gets the start tonight. What's the real headline?
Mariners in 5.
Mariners in 5.
It's a 3-game series.
Mariners in 5. Getting it done.
Man. You know what's weird is they've done enough for me to not be too concerned with a game 1 series loss, right?
Yeah.
Only 5 Ks, 6 walks, had a couple extra base hits. But what I am doing is looking really hard for stats for Julio to make me feel better about him,
Did
right?
you see any?
His expected OBA is good. Expected slug is good. Exit velo is good. Barrel percentage is good. He's still whiffing, swinging at some pitches he's not supposed to. But there are some things that say that he's not as bad as he looks. But like I said yesterday, sometimes you just need the basic, simple stats to pop out for you so you feel better about this situation. But as a team, I don't feel too bad about that loss. It was coming, right? Yeah. The Red Sox are hot right now. What, 8 out of their last 11 or something? Like, they're a good ball club. You're a decent ball club. Let's just get it done today.
One thing that I liked, Jorge Polanco getting that home run early. He's still the hottest hitter on this team outside of Cal Raleigh. And I'll throw in Dylan Moore as well, who's had obviously a really nice April, a nice past week. One thing I didn't like is, once again, a Mariners starter with some shakiness. Obviously for Bryce Miller, this happened a bit later in the game, right? In the 5th inning when he, gave up those 4 runs. But once again, we're kind of running into that conversation about you can't count on something being elite year in and year out when part of it can be based on timing and luck. Last year, what worked so well for the Mariners starting 5 is that they were exceptionally talented players, but also everyone stayed healthy. Everyone had, great years. Like, you can't always count on that all the time. Pitching can be volatile. Primarily, I'd say that about bullpen arms, but that can sometimes include starters who can have shaky stretches of play. I feel like we've seen that from Luis Castillo, and we've seen it at times from some other guys. Bryce Miller with a tough one.
This is reality. That 1 year with no injuries and everyone's doing their thing, that was fantasy land. I was Pullman in October during Halloween. It was a fantasy. It's not real. So now you got to capitalize, right? Pitchers are going to struggle at times, and that's where the bats got to pick up the slack. So, again, Julio, get going. There are some stats that say he's trending in the right direction, even though it doesn't look that way.
Someone said, Stacy, they wrote you off, but you didn't write back.
Didn't write back.
You guys did write me off.
Still early. We got to wait till, I'm
what do
telling
you mean, still
wait till
early?
Monday. You got a lot of things going on. You got the draft
Your
coming
lack
up.
of faith
You're
in
gonna
me
forget.
hurts my feelings.
I've worked with you for 3 years now.
Yeah, and
And you're trendy.
that I don't give up.
You're trendy. What's in right now? Oh, water bottles. Gone after 2 days.
I got a water bottle after 2 days,
That's it.
but I still use it at home.
Okay.
I just didn't bring it in because it's a lot of things to carry.
So you drink out of your water bottle at home?
Yes, because I ran out of sparkling water, but then I went to the store and got sparkling water, so I haven't touched my water bottle in like 24 hours.
All right. Well, we'll see. You still got time. It's early, but you still got
Thanks
time.
for your lack of faith. Should trading out of round 1 be the move for the Seahawks? That's next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
John, since we talked to you last week, there's a new backup quarterback in town.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
I think it's a great situation. We have 4 guys that we really like. It doesn't preclude us from doing anything in the draft either, and figuring out what's going on there. It's really like, okay, let's get this in the mix. Drew had other opportunities, so we figured we better kind of put a bow on it.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. 400 new and used RVs, plus manufactured homes. Over 1,000 floor plan options. It's your best chance to save all year. Browse the exhibits, chat with the experts, free parking. Tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, it's Cliff Averill, inviting you to join me at Muckleshoot Casino Resort April 24th for the ultimate draft day viewing party. Yeah, we're teaming up with Seattle Sports to bring you all the excitement on draft night live. You'll get expert insight, exclusive prizes, and a chance to hang out with me and my boy Lofa Tatupu for a special Q&A. Whether you're a diehard Seahawks fan or just love some football, this is the place to be. So don't miss out. Join us for the big night at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Let's talk football, win some prizes, and enjoy the draft together.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Michael Bumpus here, and have you ever thought, I'm not good enough to get a golf handicap, or I don't play enough golf to get one? Maybe you just like to have fun and don't think you need one. Think again. Any golfer, whether they're highly skilled or just starting out, can get a handicap. It can turn any round into a competition, for fun, or for a club trophy. You can get a handicap in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, boom, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in 15 minutes, it's 10:45. Literally in 15 minutes, it is 10:45. But it's also 10:45 on a Wednesday, which means it's Get Off My Lawn. And I cannot wait for it. Also, as a reminder at noon, we're opening up phone lines. We are just over 24 hours away from round 1 of the NFL draft, and you've been thinking about your answer to this question for months, so you better be ready in an hour and a half. What should the Seahawks do at pick number 18? You can say a position, you can say a name, you can say you want them to trade up and take someone, trade back, be a little creative if you want, or you can be boring. Who cares? Whatever your answer is, get ready to call in with it. That number is going to be 866-979-3776, and we are opening up phone lines, giving you the mic at noon. Right now, though, it is time to get back to the Seahawks. Should trading out of round 1 be the move for Seattle? Daniel Jeremiah on with Brock and Salk this morning, presented 2 trade back scenarios.
But you don't have a first-round pick. But let me give you the 2 options. So I have the Giants coming up there. And so here's the 2 trade proposals, okay? These are point total wise matchup with the chart. You guys tell me what you'd rather have, okay?
Okay.
Seahawks, they give up 18, and the first option is you get 34, you get 65, and you get 105. All this year, okay? 34, 65, 105. Or you can get 34 and next year's 2.
Okay, so hear me out, Bob.
34 next year is 2.
You will not have 18 overall. You are giving up your chance to add, the most talented, not the most talented player available, but like you have a better shot of hitting on talent at 18. It's just a fact, okay? Not true always, but a fact. Or you could have 3 second-rounders and 3 third-rounders.
He said 35, 65, 105, one scenario. And then he said...
Or a next year second-rounder.
Or next year's 2 is what he said? I thought it was 2 overalls. I was like, what? How can you predict that? You don't know that.
Or a 2026 second-rounder.
Yeah, so pretty much he's saying you're doing a deal with the Giants with that first one. All right, 34, 65, 105. You're doing a deal with the Giants. The Giants are trying to move up, and which would be an aggressive move for them because they have the number 3 pick. We're trying to figure out if they're going to go QB or not. Everyone's thinking they're going just best available, so it's either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. That would entice me a little bit because I feel like the players that the Hawks need are going to be chilling around that area, right? They're chilling at the second-round table, the third-round table, because we're obviously hoping that they attack that offensive line, and the only offensive linemen that, in my opinion, are worth going hard for are Zabel and Booker and Mimbu, but he's not going to be available, the guy out of Missouri. Not going down. That one enticed me a bit. You're getting 3 of them things. For one of them things, you win that trade. The Giants get what they want, and you get to ball out in the later part of the draft. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
No, and if you're rooting for this, if you're looking at this draft as having quite a bit more talent kind of sandwich in those later rounds, which, again, is what Daniel Jeremiah said.
So hang with me then on this. So then Seattle would have 3 second-round picks, and I believe they still have 2 third-round picks, right? So, and we've all agreed that the sweet spot of this draft is day 2. It's not much difference in the guy you're going to get at 18 versus the guy you're going to get at 50. So they've kind of would have a chance to get 5 guys, value picks, and you've scooped up a second-round pick next year.
So again, saying all the talent is supposed to be in rounds 2 and 3, kind of like concentrated to that part of the draft. You are now going to have across those 2 rounds 6 picks.
Yeah, that's why I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Same.
That makes sense to me. Because you need depth at some positions and you need to get better at some positions. And the position that you can get better at is not necessarily a first-round type of guy. Zabel's different. I mean, he plays multiple positions, right? I've seen him, say, projected as a guard and a center. Yeah, that one, I would look at that one. Selfishly, I hope they don't. Because I'm on draft coverage, and if we get to that point and they trade out of that, and we've been waiting there for like an hour or so, I'm going to be a little frustrated. But
don't worry, Bob. You got a long day Friday.
Right? But I understand why they would do that. And that's such a John Schneider type of move. I've seen him turn 4 into 8, 8 into 11. You know, you got, 10 right now? You can walk out of there with 12, 13 picks in the draft. That's a win because I feel like Mike McDonald is a good player evaluator. I'm hoping that Kubiak is a good player evaluator and can assist the scouting department when it comes to that. So that tells me that they're leaning on the scouting department. They're leaning on their coaches, and they feel like what everyone else is saying, right? After the first 10 picks, it's like, all right, everyone's a second-round pick, essentially.
He likes those bites at the apple. I still remember, I think it was the 2020 class, maybe 2021, but it was around the COVID year, and it was John Schneider talking about the Minnesota Vikings, and they had like 13 or 12 picks in that draft, some crazy number, and he was like, yeah, we're kind of jealous of it, because that's kind of his draft philosophy. Granted, that may have changed during his time in the NFL, but you're right. In general, he is someone who appreciates more shots, and my follow-up question for you was going to be, it's still a tough decision to make. What are you giving up? Because, by the way, when you're on the board at, let's say, starting in the 30s of the second round, you don't have a first-rounder, Matthew Golden isn't there. Gray Zabel probably isn't there. Booker isn't there. You know what I mean? Like, you are missing out. So what are you giving up by doing that?
You're giving up. I feel like I'm being repetitive, but this is essentially how you have to look at this. You don't know what you're giving up until the draft starts. Like, how long do you wait before you make this move? How long is your hand hovering over the let's make a deal with the Giants button until you push the button and say let's go? And how long are the Giants willing to wait for that? I would assume they will wait until at least a few picks before yours, because they're sitting at 34 if they were to try to make that, and you're sitting at number 18.
Yeah.
So what are you gaining? You're just gaining more opportunities to get shots at the type of player that most draft analysts think are in this draft, which are slightly above average players, nothing great, nothing like last year. But I got to wait and see. I think once we get to Indianapolis with pick number 14, and we see what New Orleans have done, obviously we know what Tennessee is going to do. Is Cleveland going to take a quarterback? Are the Giants going to take a quarterback? Is New England going to move out of there? Genty hopefully gone at 6. Like, once the draft starts to paint the picture for you to make sense, then it becomes more clear. So once you get to 14, and I say 14 because Indianapolis threw the bait out there, and of course, just like you take the bait with Shefty, I took the bait with the Colts, right? I'm like, they're saying they might not pass on a quarterback. You know they might be bluffing. But I'm still going to respect it and be like, all right, let's see what they do. I got to wait until then. It'd be dumb for them to do it.
How
I think
dare you
Anthony
take snaps
Richardson
away from Daniel Jones.
How dare you, Daniel Jones? Like, they called him Josh Daniels yesterday. But yeah, Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. We'll see what that looks like, because Atlanta's not going to get a quarterback. Arizona's good. Cincinnati's good. 14 is where my eyes get big and I start to really lock it in.
I agree. I think what you're kind of hoping for if you're a Seahawks fan is that one of or both Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur isn't going to slip. I'm not buying into that hype that he'll slip past number 9, but maybe he does. That some quarterback is available, not Milrow, I'm talking like Dart, is available at like 16, 17, and that you have a team that looks at the Steelers at 21, goes, the Steelers are going to take one of those two guys. Maybe they don't, but that they are expected to at least heavily entertain it, and they want to leapfrog the Steelers at 21 and trade with you.
Right.
Like, that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
And already you're going to be there's going to be teams calling, like the Rams or whoever is going to be calling teams ahead of you to try to leapfrog the Steelers already. So you're hoping that, like, by 17, pick is in, we're getting calls from people trying to, jump up ahead of 21 and take.
I would love for the Steelers to try to make a move. Go ahead and jump us and give us your 83 pick. That means have back-to-back picks in the third round. They don't have a second-round pick, so you would need something else. Maybe their fourth-round pick, 123. I wouldn't mind that at all. No.
The one thing I'll say as just kind of like our final thought before we keep it moving, going back to when I asked you, hey, what are you giving up? I know that both of us and many experts and analysts see this as a draft where it's like, well, 18 isn't the same as 5. You know what I mean? You aren't passing up on a chance to take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter or Ashton Genty. You're passing up on a chance to take a guy that could be a really good contributor, but you could also find someone really good at 34 or 35.
Yeah.
But when I look at this team and when I look at the best teams in the league, there is a blue chip talent difference.
Yeah.
And I feel a little more confident about getting blue chip talent at 18. Versus at 35.
Is it still blue chip?
Yeah.
Is it?
It can be.
Who's available? Is it still blue chip?
You don't think is Matthew Golden a blue chip talent?
No, he's cool.
Gray Zabel?
He's a light blue chip.
It could be.
It's a light blue chip. Teal. Yeah, teal blue chip.
All right, we're not done talking about the draft, obviously, but we are going to take a little bit of a break. We'll get back to football talk at 11:15 with 4 Down Territory. Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman is joining us for his weekly Wednesday hit, Talking Mariners at 11. Before we get to it, Bump's got 3 things he's got to sound off about grinding his gears. Get Off My Lawn coming your way next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Will Sam Howell play for the Seahawks in 2025?
If I had to bet today, like crystal ball, no. I think he gets moved.
Every day at 7:45.
Sam is trying to see, can I still be a starter in this league? And I bet you once that Drew Lock deal gets done, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Sam's people reached out to John and the personnel department and said, hey, find a better spot for him.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here. I want to talk to you about Silver Reef Casino this weekend. Hop in your car, go up I-5, go north, get off on exit 20, man. You got to visit Silver Reef Casino. When you do, go visit one of their deluxe king rooms. They got views everywhere. You get settled in, you get your bags unpacked. Go downstairs to some of their great restaurants. One, the Steakhouse had a steak there. It was awesome. And you can go to the new cantina if you want to experience some Mexican food. They got options for you, more restaurants as well. When you're done, go to Portis Bay Sports Bar. You can sit down and watch every game imaginable. They got baseball, they got basketball, they got hockey. It's going down at Portis Bay Sports Bar. And if the weather is good, bring your clubs. Head to Loomis Trails Golf Course. And if you don't want to play, they got a great range and a historic clubhouse. Don't get FOMO. I got you covered. They got something for everybody at silverreefcasino.com. Visit silverreefcasino.com and book your stay today. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $3,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
I like my teacher because she helps me with my problems at school.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar this Thursday at 6 p.m. to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him this Thursday at 6 p.m. for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
In 15 minutes, we're talking Mariners with Jordan Shusterman. Before we get to that, though, Bump's going to tell us 3 things, grinding his gears, and get off my lawn. Bump, what's bothering you this week?
I'm a man.
You can talk to us. It's a safe space.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's be honest with each other here. Okay?
Okay.
This first one. You know your boy. I do certain things in my life, Stacy. I travel. I go to the gym. I work. I chase my kids across the state and the country watching their games. So most of my like non-sports stuff has to do with that, those things. So I'm going to the gym. All right, we're going to the gym today. And I want to put out a notice to people. Treat treadmills like men treat urinals, okay?
What?
Treat treadmills like men treat urinals. If I'm on the treadmill and there's 2 spaces between me, don't get on the one right next to me. All right? You get on you keep that space, you go to the other one. Tread etiquette. I like that. Tread etiquette. We need to start this because there's a couple of times where even today some dude just hops right on next to me, and I got my hoodie on. I don't really see him, but I feel him. I look to my right, and there are like 3 treadmills wide open over there. I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe this is his favorite treadmill.
Sure.
So what? Treat treadmills like urinals, especially if you are a man about to get next to a woman. Because, you know, women, it's different for women in the gym.
No, that's facts,
Dudes
though.
be grimy.
Yeah.
You know, you got to keep your space.
It's kind of like when you're walking somewhere. If someone's walking really fast behind me, there's a split second where I go, oh, God.
Yeah, it's different for women.
Yeah.
They got to have a certain approach with women, especially with women. Give them that space. Now, if it's crowded, and you just got to get in there and do your thing.
I appreciate you turning it into think of the women.
Yeah.
Don't stand next to me.
Think of the women and just give you that space.
Okay.
You know, because you just feel like they're in your bubble sometimes when there's space. My bubble isn't very big, and there's space, and some dude just hopped on right next to me, and then he's I'm like, and I got my earphones on, and I can still hear this man panting, and I look to the right, and there are 2 open treadmills. You go over 1 more, and we're good to go. Maybe it was his favorite treadmill. I will give him that because people are weird like that. You have a favorite machine, but everyone in the gym world, treat treadmills the way that men treat urinals, please.
Bad tread etiquette for sure.
Bad tread etiquette.
Oh, that's bad. Okay, what's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Etiquette. Get off my lawns are my favorite. Get off my lawns.
That's fun. You know, let's just try to help people out any way I can.
It's kind of you.
All right, this next one. What's going on with this Shadur Sanders? Like, they're just pooping on this man now. They're pooping on him. They're finding anything to say that will make him lose some of his stock. So I have to go back and remind myself. I watched the film, and I'm looking at his numbers. My man is the most accurate quarterback in college history, the world correct ever. 71% completion rate throughout his career. Better completion rate than some Heisman Trophy winners. Baker Mayfield, better. Caleb Williams, better completion rate. Bryce Young, better completion rate. Matt Leinart, better completion rate. Let's throw in some other ones. Trevor Lawrence, better completion rate. Andrew Luck, better completion rate.
Ooh.
Right? The last year, he was second when it comes to touchdowns. And then you can say, oh, well, he gets sacked a lot. If you watch those games, you know that man was playing behind an offensive line that I could dial up something on playing at Monroe High School, my guys back then. They just were not very good. So nationally, it seems like all of a sudden you're hating on Shedeur Sanders. Just say you don't like who he is. Just say I don't like, he's too flashy. Yeah, he's not a good person, whatever. But you look at his numbers, it's crazy. Let's talk about what he's done at Colorado. First in Colorado single-season passing yards. First when it comes to single-season completion, 74%. First when it comes to single-season touchdown to interception ratio. First when it comes to single-season passing touchdowns. First when it comes to single-season completions. First when it comes to single-season passing. Like, the list goes on and on and on. Like, he's a good football player. He's a good quarterback in his game. And I keep hearing people slandering this young man and talking about him as a football player. If you want to talk about him as a person, then okay. You don't like who he is as a person, that's fine. I couldn't see myself hanging out with Andrew Luck, right? If I were a GM, I'd entertain Andrew Luck, but I'm also like, I don't know, can he get a locker room going? Obviously he can, but with my experiences, I'm like, I want someone with a little more swag, a little more pizzazz, whatever you want to call it. Just say you don't like Shedeur Sanders. Because his numbers, you can't say nothing about his numbers. His arm is strong enough. He's mobile enough. There are guys in this league who play a game or have played a game, a style like Shedeur Sanders and had success throughout their career. We got to wait and see what he does in the NFL. Nothing's guaranteed. But if we're talking football, y'all tripping. Like, this dude is a good quarterback.
Do you think that people don't like that he has a confidence that doesn't feel earned?
No, he's won everywhere he's gone. He won in high school. He won at Jackson State. He
know, but you know
he
what
didn't
I
win
mean?
at Colorado. He played well at Colorado.
But you know what I'm saying, though? That people think, like, you should be almost eager to, like, touch foot in the NFL, which is funny because I think there are a lot of prospects. Like, Will Howard will be like, I'm the best quarterback out there. And no one bats an eye because they're like, no, you're not. But, like, no one is bothered by that display of ego.
No, they're not. It's because he is Deion Sanders' son. It's because they're afraid that they're going to have to deal with Deion Sanders as well. He comes with baggage for sure. He definitely does, but come on, man.
Listeners not high on Shedeur Sanders. All right, what's next?
Last one.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I texted you this morning. I've been set up.
I'm so glad this one made it.
Couple days ago.
Yeah.
You guys try to blast me on the radio and say, oh, bump, someone's leaving hair in the restroom that we use downstairs. It's the one with the shower and whatnot. And it's black hair. She thought a black man did it. All right, I get it. I got black hair. But really, when I shave my beard, it's more gray than anything. Right? So I go in there today, and there's hair all in the sink. Long hair, short hair, curly hair, straight hair, coarse hair, all in the sink. And I look and I go, these you-know-whats are trying to put this on me.
Yeah,
so I took a video. I'm looking at it, and I'm whispering. I go, look at this. They're trying to set me up.
It's a radio-friendly version.
It wasn't me. They're trying to set me up. But you know the jacked up part is, whoever's leaving that hair down there, I still got to clean it up. Because if I leave and it's there, they're going to expect that it's me. All my dudes who shave, you know how this goes. You either clean the sink when you're done, or what I do is I put a shirt over the sink, so when I'm done, I can just fold up the shirt, put it away, and if I leave any extras, I wipe it down. Someone in this building is setting me up. If you got black hair, I'm looking at you different. You got black hair, you're a man, I'm looking at you different. Pick up after yourselves, gosh darn it.
That, to me, has been the most jarring thing, that Curtis and I were used as weapons. We're used as weapons.
Right, we were asked to do the dirty work.
To set Bump up. And to be fair, at the time, I thought, well, this makes sense. Like, Bump is one of, like, 5 people that, like, actually work out before work and use this restroom. And, you know, who else could it possibly be? We know it's not Kyle. You know, Kyle doesn't have a beard, and Kyle's the one that was like, hey, we got a situation on our hands.
Y'all had me second guessing myself. I'm like, man, I'm sure I've left.
And you admitted to it.
I've left it before.
It was a false confession.
You know, like, because no one's perfect.
Yeah.
No one's perfect. But I know I cover the sink. I wipe it down. And I go in there 2 days. Now, it's been 2 days in a row now. I've gone in there and I'm looking at that sink, and I was like, they trying to frame me.
Bro, someone is setting you up. This is making a murderer all over again. Someone is leaving little beard clippings and beard trimmings in the downstairs sink, and they are making it clear, oh, that's Michael Bumpus. And now everyone's looking at you while they're getting away with murder.
Yeah.
Dang.
Got me.
Talking Mariners with Jordan Shusterman next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
tomorrow.
First real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Tomorrow, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Get up to $5,000 in local utility rebates, and Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Plus, Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit AmericasCarMuseum.org.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The NFL Hall of Fame game matchup has been announced. It's Lions-Chargers facing off July 31st. That's ahead of the August 3rd Hall of Fame induction. The Lakers tied up their series against Minnesota with a Game 2 win last night. Timberwolves held a 5 for 25 on threes. Mariners taking on the Red Sox for Game 2 this afternoon, looking to even up their series. First pitch at 3:45 p.m. Pregame show at 2:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We have a couple different theories as to who might be leaving hair in the bathroom sink. Someone thinks it's Bob, but I don't think it's Bob.
No, I don't think it's Bob.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it ain't.
It's definitely not Jordan Shusterman because he doesn't work here, but he is joining us. Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jordan, you're interrupting a weird conversation. We apologize for that, but someone's framing Bump. And so we were just trying to get to the bottom of who might be doing it. We're bringing you on to talk Mariners baseball. And the last two times we had you, I was hoping the Mariners would be winning so we'd have a fun team to talk about and some excitement to talk about. And lo and behold, we've had a pretty decent Mariners offense. Before we get into questions, including a loss to begin this series, let's talk about what's been going right for Seattle. What have you seen from the offense?
Yeah, I think it's starting to see, especially with Polanco, continue. I mean, Polanco probably deserves his own conversation at this point, but you are just seeing a lot more consistency from. I mean, Julio, again, we've seen still some spurts of chase, but Randy has just made such a difference. Obviously, the big swings that Rowdy Tellez provided over the weekend in Toronto just kind of lengthens this lineup. Guys like Rayleigh, and we'll see, right? Cal certainly had his run. I know he's maybe cooled off a little bit, but it is looking like a much more balanced unit, and I think the stats reflect that.
Going into the season, you know, the talk of this team was the rotation, right? When obviously you get a hit there with George Kirby, and Castillo hasn't looked great, and Bryce gets knocked around a little bit. Emerson Hancock has struggled a bit, but then, you know, showed some life. How do you feel about this rotation now? Do you still stand up there and say this is the best rotation in the game, or do you feel like they've taken a couple steps back?
Yeah, it's something that we've certainly been monitoring in the early going. I think once George goes down, you already can start to say, all right, well, there are other teams with 4 really good starters instead of 5, right? Having 5 really good starters is really what made it so rare. And then with Castillo's early season form, you know, you start to kind of chip away at that and wonder really what you're expecting there. Bryce, another guy that has maybe not been as sharp in all of his outings, but I still think this is a top 10 rotation pretty comfortably. I know the numbers right now do not reflect that. I think they're 20th or 21st in team ERA, which is, of course, fairly shocking when you consider they were first last year by a mile. But I still think it's a good unit, and I think it's going to be really on the bullpen to kind of step up and be better than they were a year ago to kind of balance out this pitching staff. And we've seen there have been some flashes of that, and there have been still some moments where it seems like that unit is a bit of a shortcoming.
So a very related question. Do you think some of the stats we saw last year with the starting 5 was almost like an overperformance, everyone at their best, everyone healthy, and maybe not reflective of the true talent of that group? Or do you think that this year's stats just maybe aren't super reflective of that group?
Yeah, I would say if there's one thing that is most concerning about the numbers so far is that they have played a lot of home games already, right? And generally the run prevention is the superpower at home in particular. and you kind of see it get exposed a little bit more on the road. I mean, that was true even last year. The fact that they've also allowed some runs at home as well. Now, going into Boston is a different animal. I think that you started to see what that team is what Boston is capable of. I was super high on them coming into the season, and especially playing at home, it's just a very difficult offense to contain, especially if you're going to give up a big swing to someone like Tristan Casas, who is very talented, but it was thus far struggling this season. Boston's really starting to get it going. Toronto, meanwhile, that's an offense that has really been struggling, and so they certainly took advantage of them over the weekend. But it'll be interesting to see how this staff continues to perform away from Seattle, because I think generally you're going to be able to count on the run prevention at home, but so far it's been a little bit so-so.
I've been trying to figure out ways to see if Julio is trying to turn a corner, right? And in baseball, you got stats for days, man. It's crazy the stats, the numbers you can come up with. I went to expected weighted on base average. And I'm like, all right, let's see what this looks like. And the numbers aren't bad. He's hitting the ball hard when he does make contact. It seems like for the most part he's swinging at pitches in the zone. Is it fair to say that it's too early to kind of give up on, even though I am a bit concerned of what's going on?
No, I think what you could see, the fact that he is drawing walks, he is willing to take his base. And I mean, generally the hard hit rate has been there just because he's so ridiculously strong, and the bat speed has always been elite. But generally this offense, even over the past few years, they have drawn walks, and that's something that if they can cut down on the strikeouts, which it seems like they mostly have, that's where you are going to end up having a pretty consistent offense, just because you are reaching base and you're not striking out too often in big spots. But again, just having, I mean, it's not to just steer it back to Polanco, but man, the difference that he's made, I mean, it's basically everything you kind of thought you were getting a year ago, and it just takes the pressure off guys like Julio and Randy to deliver in every big spot. And for the most part, Randy has. I mean, I know the batting average still isn't pretty, but it's been pretty remarkable how many big spots he's come up in. Also on defense, I know had that huge catch over the weekend. He's just been so fun to watch so far.
I know it's so early, and I always feel silly having baseball analysts and guests on, and we're like, is what you've seen enough, when you're like, it's April 23rd. I don't know what to tell you. That being said, Jordan, I'm going to ask you a question like that, which is, have you seen enough from the Mariners offense? You've mentioned Polanco a couple times, mentioned Randy. Obviously, Cal tied for first in home runs. I don't think he will get 60 this year, but he may end up getting 30. Have you seen enough from the Mariners offense to at least pique your interest that they could be better this year than they were last?
Yeah, I think so. Again, part of that is it's like, okay, well, how much is actually new personnel, right? I mean, technically, Rowdy is the only new personnel. We know that Solano, as the other one, has certainly been a non-factor so far, which has certainly been disappointing. But you can count Randy as new personnel. You can count this version of Jorge Polanco as a hitter that was just not a part of this lineup at any time last season. And so, yeah, I think that, again, we just did a whole podcast this morning talking about like who's good in the American League. You can look at the American League West and be like, wow, this division really isn't what we thought it was trending to be. But you can kind of say that about the East and Central as well. And I think, again, that speaks to the window that is open for Seattle here, where you don't have, if you do have 3 or 4 good hitters and the rest are kind of underwhelming, that's kind of the case for a lot of these teams that think they're good in the American League. So I think that puts them more on par with their competition. And with that in mind, I do think it is what's going to keep them in this race for much of the season, if not all the way to the postseason.
I know it's bad for athletes to kind of look down the schedule, look ahead and see what's coming up. But we do it all the time, obviously, because we're analysts and we like matinee games, day games, because we get those off, right? But I'm looking at the games that are coming up. Obviously, got to finish this deal in Boston. And this is the least concerned I've been after a game 1 loss with this team. So I think that's a good thing, right? They're giving me enough to kind of believe in what they're doing. But then you got Miami and the Angels. When you look at what's ahead of these guys, what's a fair and realistic expectation?
Yeah, the Marlins have certainly been friskier than I think people anticipated in the early going, although I believe most of their success has come at home. So that is one where, just from a talent perspective, you just got to take care of business. I mean, the Marlins, just from an experience perspective, I think are I think they're the youngest team in baseball, certainly, almost certainly the least experienced, I think even behind the White Sox. And so that's a team that, doesn't know any better. And so you could probably attribute some of their success early on to just being like, well, whatever, we're in the major leagues. Who knows what this is supposed to be like? And that can drive teams for a while. And then, the Angels, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. But I think that it'll be good to have this run after that with Texas and the A's have a bit more of a divisional measuring stick to kind of understand where they stack up. I think we've started to see some of the flaws with those teams as well. The Angels have certainly started to fall back. The Rangers have had some things start to go well for them, but you see Seager leave in the way that he did last night, and you were kind of reminded of their durability concerns. And the A's are interesting. I think they're going to be a fun offense to deal with all season, but they still have a lot of questions on the mound. So I think that stretch will definitely tell them a lot, but they really do need to take care of business against a team like Miami.
Jordan, I'm going to get back to Julio for just a little bit, because every time we talk about Julio, we have a million texter questions. Did they pay him too soon? Why do people count on it? And it's just, fair or not, it's probably the case for any top prospect that's underperforming. It's just people, become really polarizing. When you and Jake talk about the Mariners, I'm assuming more often than not you guys focus on the starting arms, and that's kind of the identity of this team. But when you do get around to Julio and talking about him, where do you guys settle on, have you started to lower expectations? Are you still very intrigued? Is there a giant question mark there? I'm curious as to when you guys talk unfiltered or even off the podcast about Julio, what are those conversations like?
Yeah, again, like when you see the heights of a player like that, it's just that's the standard that you set. And if he was a 6-win season, 6-win player, each of the last 3 years instead of just his first year, we would be talking about him as one of the best players in baseball. And now I think everyone acknowledges that, again, the point that I've made over and over and over is what he is bringing defensively in center is just not a small thing. And so the fact that he made himself into that good of a defender and base runner with the speed, it just changes the whole complexion, because the whole profile falls apart if you're looking at a guy who's in right field bringing nothing defensively. And it's like, okay, dude, Jake, you're supposed to be a middle of the order bat. But the fact that he can be this leadoff guy that can be a catalyst with his speed as well as his defense, it kind of changes the complexion. Now, at the same time, sure, with the contract, with everything, okay, he has to be obviously the best player on the team. He's 24. So I think with so many years ahead of him and understanding what is still possible, when we've still seen those stretches, even last year, of playing like one of the best players in baseball, we've seen long stretches of that. It's still in there, and I haven't seen nearly for how many more walks he's drawing this year. It's not like the strikeout rate is not up. It's just, again, it's the aesthetics of when it looks bad, when he does chase. I've said it before. It's an aesthetic that makes it look worse than it actually is. Yeah, and so that is not necessarily actually, it makes the production feel a lot worse than the one at bat that actually just looks so bad. And so I should you lower expectations? Was his rookie, I still don't believe his rookie year was his best season, but I do think that his flaws could make it longer to kind of get back to that than maybe a lot of people would hope. But I still think he's a great player and still a guy that a ton of teams would happily be paying the contract that he's getting over all those years.
Do you think we've seen enough from any of the names that have occupied third base so far this year to kind of project, all right, you might have an everyday guy eventually?
That's a great question. I really did not know what to make of the Ben Williamson decision. It's just so much to ask of a player who has played so little minor league baseball, and I know he had that big swing in Toronto, which was awesome. It speaks, unfortunately, it speaks to the depth, it speaks to the position that they kind of put themselves in the infield going into the season. And maybe it's good enough if he can play good defense and just hit ninth and just work some at bats, right? If he can draw some walks and if he can just have some long at bats where he's driving up the pitch count. Like, there can be some value in that, but it's just so unfair to be putting that on a player like Ben Williamson, who, not that he's not a good prospect, but it's just so much to put on a player. So maybe he can do that. I don't know if someone else is going to emerge. If we end up seeing an aggressive move, someone like Cole Young, and then you see more of Dylan Moore back at third base, there's a couple of ways that this could go. I'm not really convinced that Williamson is the answer for the rest of the season, but I got to be honest, I've been impressed to the degree to which he hasn't looked totally overwhelmed, because I think that would be totally understandable if that was the case.
I'm going to take a look for my final question with you around baseball. Is there a team that's off to a tough start that you've still got some faith in, and then conversely a team that's you know where it's going, a team that's pretty hot where you go, I've yet to believe, like I'm still kind of in pause mode with them?
Yeah, so the team that I'm still riding with, and again, we talked about this on the pod that we recorded this morning, I'm still kind of in on this Rays team. I know their record is not pretty. I know last year was really disappointing, but their track record, having been to the postseason as often as they have been, I think there's enough new characters involved that I do believe in, whether it's Jonathan Aranda, whether it's Karen Meisner. I think Caminero could emerge as an all-star level producer. I think the offense is going to be better than it's shown, and I believe in the pitching talent for sure. They've had a bit of a home run problem so far in the early going, but I think the stuff is tremendous basically across the board, and I think they have more depth coming in the farm that they could kind of supplement in an AL East that maybe is more open than we maybe thought. I mean, still some tough competition. Of course, we know all those teams are trying to win, but I still think the Rays are not a team that should be totally slept on. How spending most of the second half of the season on the road is going to impact them, for those who don't know, one of the most interesting parts about their ballpark situation is the fact that the schedule has been, in an effort to avoid the summer rain in Florida, has been kind of finagled so that they're playing a ton of home games early in the season, and they're on the road for a lot of the second half. We'll see how that impacts them, but the talent I like there a good bit. And then as for the other side, I mean, I don't know. It's probably Texas. Just because of some of the concerns that I mentioned. Yeah, but not to in the National League, like I like a lot of these other teams. Like I think the Cubs are a wild ride, but I do think that their offense is going to be good enough to kind of keep them in the driver's seat in that division, and I think the NL West is pretty legit. So Texas, we'll see. I still see the upside with Texas, but with the durability concerns and kind of the lack of depth, especially on the mound, I just see it as a bit of a flimsy 14-9 at this stage.
Last quick one I got for you. The way you talked about the Rays and how you're still bought in on them, are there analysts you speak to that talk about the Mariners like that?
Yeah, that's an interesting part, because it's like the Mariners' track record in these recent years have, on one hand, it's like, oh, well, same old Mariners, like they're not going to hit enough, right? But then the other hand, it's like, okay, well, they have won more games than most of these other teams that have like fallen really far, whether it's a Toronto, whether it's a Texas, right? Whether it is a Tampa, or whether maybe it's a kind of team like Baltimore, who seems to really be trending in a troubling way. The Mariners have kind of managed to stay afloat and be competitive in all these seasons, and I know that the fans have a higher standard than that, but I think that does kind of give a floor that is higher than maybe some of these other teams, where we have seen them fall off in a way where it's like, oh, they're just not good. Like, that's just a bad team. And while the Mariners have certainly had stretches where they've looked pretty awful over the past few years, at the end of the day, they've always kind of been right in the mix over the last 3 seasons. And like I said, I totally understand fans wanting the bar to be higher there, but when you compare it to some of these other teams where the bottom has really fallen out more, I think that's what Seattle can kind of hang their hat on.
You can hear more from Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman on the Baseball Bar B-Cast. Like Jordan mentioned, new episode came out, 32 minutes ago. So I'm also fascinated by kind of the split between the American League and National League, and the differences in those teams and what feels like a gap. It's a great conversation. Go take a listen, and it is a great podcast to listen to. Add it to your weekly listens. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See ya. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael
First down.
Bumpus.
I love a conspiracy theory.
I
My
know you do.
tinfoil hat is on, Bump, because you've developed a conspiracy theory about one Shedeur Sanders. What is it?
What if Shedeur is going to these team meetings and performing in the interview process poorly on purpose? What if he doesn't want to go to the Saints? What if he doesn't want to go to the Giants? What if this is part of Deion Sanders' master plan to get him to Pittsburgh? So he drops to 21, so he's around some structure that Deion just agrees with. Because when we're hearing that I can see him performing poorly in the interview process. I can just see it. Intentionally. And I can just see him rubbing people the wrong way, even if it's not intentionally. But what if this is part of his master plan to get him to 21? He doesn't want to go to the Saints. He doesn't want to go to the Giants. He doesn't want to go to the Colts. That's a shot, a far shot. Unlikely. But yeah, what if it is? I was just thinking about it, and it makes sense because that's the only way you can manipulate where you're going, really, without just saying, I don't want to go there. You just walk in there, turn your hat sideways like the Fresh Prince, have the chains on, lean back, and just give them everything that they don't want. And then you go down to Pittsburgh, you hear how Tomlin talks about him. He goes, he loves them. He's competitive. Good interview. It sounds different when you hear it from different teams.
I like that conspiracy theory a lot. Second down. You've been prepping for draft coverage and have a player leaping another in the ranking. Tell us.
So I've heard a few people say this, but I'm convinced. Loveland is a better tight end than Warren. All right, I would pick Loveland first
I like that take.
over Warren. And the reason why, Warren is a better blocker. He's like a grittier type of tight end, right? Stockier, stronger, and all that stuff. Loveland runs better routes. He's not a bad blocker. He has better catch radius. He has better yards after the catch. The tight ends that we like in today's game, we don't think of them as just great pass blockers, great run blockers. You got to be able to do it, but where they get their advantage is in the pass game, and that's what Loveland is. The more film I watch, the more I fall in love with him, man. I think Warren is... He can be seen as the number one tight end. Me personally, I think Loveland does a bit more than Warren does. Warren is gritty. Like if you want to be a Baltimore tight end, you want to be a Bills tight end and be heavy on the run block for sure. But Loveland is the new age tight end.
Third down. Excuses. Everyone's got one. What's an excuse you don't like to hear, but it might be valid?
It might be valid. I just read something where Mark Andrews said his gloves were wet when he dropped that football in the championship game. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that, but I played with wet gloves, and the ball is slippery. But my coach used to make us take off the gloves. It's raining. Coach Levenseller at Wazoo, take the gloves off. We used to hate him for it, but you just have more grip on him. So when I read that, I'm like, no, Mark Andrews, don't put that out there, man. You're a pro. You can still catch that football. But he's absolutely right. When those gloves get wet, they are slick. But you got to be a pro and know I have to take these off now. I just keep my hands dry by wiping my hands on a towel, and I will go that route. All my receivers out there, you know the deal. Those gloves are wet. They are no good. It is truth. But I just don't want to hear that from one of the best tight ends in the game.
God, that really was a devastating moment. And it did remind me of like the Baltimore Ravens season began and ended with just bad luck situations with either tight end. Isaiah Likely's toe being just out of bounds, and then Andrews obviously dropping a two-point conversion, right? Both were going to be, one was a touchdown for Likely. They needed a two-point conversion. The other was a two-point conversion. Just, that's how close Baltimore is. I mean, really, it goes back to one of my favorite topics of conversation, which is how you build a franchise, how you build a Super Bowl team, how teams win Super Bowls, what championship rosters look like. And there are so many championship caliber rosters that have come through the NFL, had entire eras of play, and never won. Or maybe they won once. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, 1 Super Bowl ring.
One of them things.
Drew Brees, maybe one of the most prolific passers ever in the NFL, 1 Super Bowl ring.
I hope Josh Allen doesn't become the guy who doesn't win a Super Bowl ring.
Me too.
Because he's good, man.
4th down. Well. So there is a quarterback you're looking at.
Yeah.
What quarterback have you fallen for when it comes to possible 2nd or 3rd round picks for the Seahawks?
Yeah, and we've spoken about this young man before. You did a thing on our IG for
Yes, who it's going to. Yeah. Dylan Gabriel?
Nope.
Kyle McCord?
Nope.
Will Howard?
Yes.
Okay.
Will Howard. If Will is available, third time's a charm. If he's available at 52 or maybe even 82, which I doubt he gets that far, I'm okay with him taking a look at Will Howard. He's a mobile quarterback, big boy, strong arm, competitor, knows how to win. He's the type of guy that you take. At 18, I'm not touching a quarterback. But at 52, maybe you make some trades and you move up in other places. I'm okay with that. Will Howard would be my pick right now.
All right. Don't forget, Seattle Sports is the home of the Seahawks and your home for the 2025 NFL Draft. Find us on the radio, the app, and their YouTube page for complete coverage of the Hawks' 5 top 100 picks. Again, 5 top 100 picks. Our coverage starts Thursday at 4 p.m. with the John Schneider Show live. Continues through every Seahawks pick As a reminder, it's not going to be a typical show schedule. You're going to have Curtis, Brady Henderson of ESPN, and I on for us tomorrow from 2 to 4 because you got a matinee Mariners game. And then you've got the crew of former Seahawks hosted by Bob for both Thursday and Friday. So for all the Seahawks picks on those days, you guys are going to have 4 former NFL players to break it down for you guys. Follow along via the Seattle Sports app. Timeline coming your way next.
The 2025 NFL Draft tomorrow.
First real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day. With General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Tomorrow, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Did you hear?
A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife. Patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and First Hill campuses. As many 710 listeners know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment option for prostate cancer with proven results. It uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. Healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. The end result? Excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, with each session lasting less than an hour. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Coming up in 30 minutes, you guys got to play Seahawks GM and make your pick for Seattle at 18. Now, I don't want you to call in and say Cam Ward at 18. Please be so for real. But maybe you want to call in and say, I want to see the Seahawks trade up. I want to see them be really aggressive and trade up and try to get in on someone like Ashton Genty. That's a completely fair answer, okay? So whatever your answer is, it's what you want to see them take, do, a person you want to see them draft, a position, whatever it is, you are going to call in 30 minutes. 866-979-3776. Don't call now because Matt will not be happy. He won't even answer the phone.
Oh, I'll answer the phone.
What are you going to say?
I can't say it on air.
Okay.
But I can say it down the phone line.
I guess if you want to call and say hi to Matt, don't do it.
Don't actually do it.
Already said. You're going to call in 30 minutes, and we will remind you. Right now, let's get to the timeline. Tom Pelissero's 2025 draft class rankings are under fire for multiple anonymous quotes from coaches and executives. What are they doing? Well, I'm glad we just had 4 down territory. They're trashing Shedeur Sanders' character. This is one excerpt from it. Quote, one longtime NFL assistant coach said his time with Sanders was, quote, the worst formal interview I've ever been to in my life. Again, fitting in with Bump's conspiracy theory. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is, he's not that good, said one longtime AFC executive. It didn't go great in our interview. He wants to dictate what he's going to do and what's best for him. He makes you feel small. Some of Sanders Some of Sanders fans I was always good with reading in class, like public reading. Even some of Sanders fans expressed disappointment he didn't take a bigger step forward as a senior, said one NFC GM. I liked him the year before. They did change coordinators. It just felt different. It felt less athletic, less arm talent. Everything felt less. If you're talking about this year's tape versus Dart and Shedeur, I don't think it was particularly close.
That's an opinion. That's a good thing about this draft stuff is that we can hear both, right? We hear Shedeur's trash, takes too many sacks, doesn't do this and that. And then you hear on the other side, like guys who probably this AFC executive respects, guys who watch film say, he's good at this, he's good at that, he's good at that. It's all perspective, and you're entitled to feel the way you want to feel about him. I might not agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know anything about his interviews. I could see him going in there and rubbing people the wrong way.
I could see him being entitled.
Definitely see that.
Yeah, of course.
As far as football, I watched the film on both these guys, and I would say Jackson Dart is a more athletic quarterback. I would say Jackson Dart has probably a higher ceiling physically than Shedeur Sanders does, for sure. And if that's what you're looking for, a guy who can run the RPOs, who's a bit thicker, a bit stronger, a bit faster, probably has a stronger arm, yeah. I can see that. I think the thing that Shedeur does well is that his throws are on time. I don't get the not on time throws. I don't get that. Especially when teams are going to send 7. You only can block 5 or 6, and he's still standing in the pocket and making his throws. That's just my analysis. Respect to whoever that guy is or was. He's a GM in the AFC. And then I started looking at, all right, he's an AFC guy. He's probably going to go to the NFC in the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, they're AFC too. I'm sorry.
There's an NFC GM and the AFC executive is the one that says he wants to dictate what he's going to do and what's best for him. He makes you feel small.
That's funny to me.
That was the most jarring part of the
There is
line,
no
of the quote.
20, 21-year-old who's going to make me feel small. Because I'm a grown man and I'm secure with who I am. I can look at him and be like, he's immature. Like, it's not even worth having this conversation. But makes you feel small.
I wonder if it's a young executive.
I don't know. That sounds like insecurity. But you have your analysis, and I've heard both. That's the thing. I've heard things about Cam Ward, too. The thing that saves Cam Ward is that his personality is a bit different. I've heard the same things about Jackson Dart. People don't like some of his game. But their personalities, they fit more the mold that these GMs want.
Yeah, I found that to be really interesting. I would not be surprised at all. I mean, your dad's an egomaniac.
Yeah.
He just happens to be one of the most talented football players we've ever seen, so he kind of earned it. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain former athletes or whoever who can be egomaniacs, and you think, okay, yeah, sure, you can do that. You're prime time. Of course you can. But I could see him absolutely not lacking for confidence, feeling very entitled, and none of this intimidating him.
Nah.
Meeting an AFC executive isn't going to intimidate him. He's known NFL Hall of Famers his whole life.
He's been around the game
Yeah.
at a different level in the personnel, like GMs, presidents, owners, all that stuff.
As a person, that probably would rub me the wrong way, being completely frank, but you can't. If I thought, well, I would check 2 boxes. Is he good at football? Do I think I can develop him? And is he at least professional?
Yeah.
Like, he can rub me the wrong way, and, like, maybe I think he's a little entitled, but he grew up rich and I didn't. He grew up around celebrities and I didn't. So, like, yeah. He's going to live a life that most people don't. But is he at least professional or polite?
Here's the thing. I think he will and has to get better at that, though.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be in a room, still have that aura, still be that leader, but also have a certain amount of respect for everyone that's around you.
Next up, Vikings running back Aaron Jones turned 30 in December, and he's not ashamed to be one of the older running backs in the league.
I feel the best I've ever felt. I feel like I'm back to 24, 25 years old. Whoever came up with age, I feel like it's just a number. It's just a number. I've been saying that since I was a little kid trying to get older women. Age is just a number. But no, it really is. Is if you stay young here, you continue to work every day. That's really what it is.
I like the approach, Aaron. It's what I used to say to older women when I would hit on them. Age ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah, it's a number, but it's real. Age is real. I don't feel the same way I did 5 years ago than I do now when it comes to my body. But that's the mentality he has to have. And he's still playing some good football, and he's one of the fortunate ones, especially at the running back position, because we know once you hit 28, 27, around that age, you start to slow down a bit. But no, it's all a mentality for some, but for most, it's a reality.
Next up, LA Angels players are frustrated. Why? Because the team's decision to schedule Thursday's getaway game against the Pirates for a 6:29 p.m. first pitch before a game the next day in Minnesota. So the 6:29 p.m. time for first pitch is the latest possible start time allowed by the CBA with a game the next day. And the Angels are doing it because they're likely to have better attendance for it rather than a midweek day game. Basically, they're sacrificing players' sleep schedules for ticket sales.
The business of baseball, the business of sports, right? I don't know what their ticket sales are like. I don't know if people are showing up to their games, but if they're doing this, they must need the money.
They're not showing up the way they used to, not when, like, Ohtani was there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Anaheim, man. Stop claiming L.A.
Well, and one wrinkle about this is that they're playing the Pirates. Thursday's game was originally going to be a Paul Skeens start, and he's from Orange County, which is where
that would get you
Stadium.
better attendance if they knew Paul Skeens was playing.
Right. Like, you wouldn't have to move the start time. But Skeens is not pitching on Thursday. Instead, he's pitching Friday in Dodger Stadium rather than Thursday in Angel Stadium. So they moved this game for nothing. And now their players are all mad at them.
The Angels make lots of weird decisions.
The fake L.A. team. He wants to play against the real L.A. team. Not the fake ones. Not the fake ones.
God, yeah, they really are. What team would you most hate to be a fan of right now? I know it's easy for Mariners fans to go, the Mariners, but I'm sorry, the Mariners are in like a decent spot right now. They're hitting home runs. I know that we all wanted to see a better team, but there are worse scenarios to be in.
Chicago, White Sox. Yeah.
No doubt.
White Sox
in
all day.
baseball. I mean, the Angels, they are going nowhere fast.
The Angels are in such a weird kind of like, how long is their drought?
I think 2014 was the last time they made the playoffs.
So 11 years?
Yeah.
10 going
Look
on
at us
11?
acting like Mariners didn't just get there like 3 years ago.
I can't relate. You know, my team only has a 2-year playoff drought going on 3 years. I simply can't relate.
I mean, even though they routinely make the playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks, that'd be a hard team to root for right now.
Oh, you'd be so angry. Any team that's just mismanaged from the very, very top, from either a GM or worse, an owner, would feel like for a while it was Washington under Dan Snyder, because you just thought no matter who's your coach, no matter who your quarterback is, you're just going to have someone with bad intentions at the top. Yeah. That's a good one too. All right. So again, taking your calls in about 20 minutes. What should the Seahawks do at number 18? You got 20 minutes to think of your answer. You are going to call in with your answer. We'll give you that number again a bit later. Coming up next, though, what's sticking with us after the Kraken's front office decisions?
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
John, since we talked to you last week, there's a new backup quarterback in town.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
I think it's a great situation. We have 4 guys that we really like. It doesn't preclude us from doing anything in the draft either, you know, and figuring out what's going on there. It's really like, okay, let's get this in the mix. Drew had other opportunities, so we figured we better kind of put a bow on it.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, this is a great deal. Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, incentivizing homeowners like you to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and this is a great time to do it. The days are getting longer. Post 7 p.m. sunsets, those crews can get your roof done quick, just in time for the spring rains to keep your home dry and protected. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com. And when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Be sure to ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, their GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers nationally, and the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com. Tell them Mike Salk sent you. Go to Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar this Thursday at 6 p.m. to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him this Thursday at 6 p.m. for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's Dr.
markwagnermd.com.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and if you're interested in a backyard oasis, come explore the latest trends in outdoor living, patio, and deck design during the grand opening of People Come First Construction Group's new Luxury Design Center. It's this Friday starting at 11 a.m. and is a special offer. During the event only, PCF Group will cover the sales tax on grills, appliances, furniture, hot tubs, and more. Plus, meet industry designers and innovators, as well as celebrity guests, including, well, yours truly from 3 to 5 p.m., along with current NFL player Brady Russell and NFL alumni president Randall Morris. The new PCF Group Design Center is designed to be an immersive experience for customers, showcasing just how outdoor spaces elevate home living, relaxation, and entertainment. Food and beverages will be available, giveaways, and you'll have the chance to view their state-of-the-art virtual reality system. So come check out PCF Group's new exterior design premier gallery. Grand opening this Friday starting at 11 a.m. For more details, visit PCFgroup.com or call 206-992-0364.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy
weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking your calls in less than 15 minutes, which means you have 14 minutes to think about what the Seahawks should do at pick number 18. Before we get to that, we're talking about the Kraken, but not really. And here's what I mean. The Kraken made some front office changes, Bump, firing Dan Bilesma as head coach after one season, promoting Ron Francis, acting GM, to team president, and then elevating assistant GM Jason Botterill to active GM. This isn't necessarily a Kraken segment, though. What this is meant to be a conversation about what you do when a timeline changes. The Kraken made a surprise appearance in the playoffs in their second season. They probably weren't expecting it. Fans weren't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know if you were expecting it, but I was pleasantly surprised by that. Rather, though, than build off of that team, really dive into contention, they sat back and took a more meek approach, a more measured approach, maybe because to their timeline, they were like, well, we're still in the middle of our timeline. Like the playoff appearance was fun and cool, but like we're still building out. We're still looking at contending a few years down the road. They got worse, and now they're going to be on their third head coach in 5 years. Likewise, the Mariners made it to the playoffs in 2022 rather than get aggressive after that season and floor it, despite marketing efforts saying, like, you know, World Series is the plan. They kind of remained the same. And I think it's because the timeline was, oh, we're still kind of building towards being competitive and building towards being a contender. In neither case did that team, after making the playoffs, adjust their timeline for themselves. So I wanted to kind of introduce that conversation, throw it your way, and kind of talk about whether or not you should do that ever as an organization.
No, you have to build off of that. When things change for better or worse, you have to adjust. I think that adjustments are reserved for the bad things, right? Oh, something bad happened, I must adjust. We didn't make it here, we have to adjust. To where when something good happens, they're like, okay, we're on the right path. Well, something good can happen, and you say, well, let's get a little more aggressive because we are ahead of schedule. I think that was the issue with the Mariners, we felt like, and then here with the Kraken as well. You feel like you bought yourself some time. Or at least it feels like they felt like they bought themselves some time.
Yeah.
It was like, no, you're ahead of schedule. Let's go now.
Yep.
Let's go. You're better than you expected. Why wouldn't you get more aggressive with that? And I think in sports, you can't be timid, especially if you're a new franchise like the Kraken. You had an opportunity. People were going crazy for the Kraken. They made it to the playoffs. I went to a playoff game. First playoff game I've ever been to. I'm bought in. And then you come out the next year and you try to roll out the same type of team. Then a couple years later, you're going to get some veterans for some Stanley Cup winning championship teams. And it's like the chemistry and the momentum is lost. But then listening to Ron Francis talk about Bylsma and why he's not here anymore, there are some things that, if true, that allow you to believe that the process and the philosophy just didn't match what the roster was capable of. And I think that's big too. It's never just one thing. But when you are ahead of schedule and you win some games and you get to the playoffs and you got the people behind you, ride that wave. Go make a move that you normally don't do.
Yeah.
I'm not a gambling man, but if I go to Vegas and I'm up like 500, I'm going to bet just a little bit more because I know I got some wiggle room now, you know, and it didn't feel like they bet a little bit more. It felt like they were saying, okay, well, let's just bet the minimum and we're still going to be able to hit. You bet the minimum, man, that money's going to go away slowly but surely, and it'll go away if you bet big, but at least you feel like you give yourself an opportunity to come up with more.
Well, what you ultimately owe fans and owe the city is a championship team, right?
Yep.
Ultimately, you owe people delivering on a promise of building a contender. And if that starts to show its face earlier, and even if as front office executives you go, man, I'm kind of surprised this team is here, we're a little lucky, well, then you need to adapt. And you need to recognize that now the expectation for you has changed. Like, I guarantee you that while a lot of Kraken fans looked at that team and went, yeah, I mean, they're going to need to do a lot to get back to the playoffs, or I'm a little surprised they're here, they still changed their overall expectation for how that club might respond. I think a lot of Kraken fans, a lot of really, like, knowledgeable hockey fans thought, well, what you naturally have to do is be maybe a little more aggressive than you otherwise normally would because you're competing sooner than you expect. Likewise, I know a lot of Mariners fans feel this way, that when that team made it back to the playoffs, you thought, okay, well, now the expectation is you win the ALDS. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that you go and, scoop up, 5 World Series trophies in a row, but it does mean that the expectation changes. I am no longer satisfied with getting close to the playoffs once I've been there. Absolutely not.
Right.
You've tasted the playoffs. You want to get back there. And I think what front offices can do across the country, but unfortunately what's happened in this city is a meekness that I can't stand.
It's you just can't be timid when you are, and this isn't a small market, but it's treated and seen that way. But when you are Seattle and you just don't get free agents knocking on your door, and you don't have in hockey especially the culture that all these other historic franchises have, you got to make some noise. And I think it's a tough place to be in because as a GM, as an owner, you're looking at numbers and you're trying to make moves that are good for the business. Whereas sometimes what's good for the business is taking a risk, right? Taking out that big loan and saying, all right, let's invest this and see if we can build off of it. It's almost like they're scared to do that. And when you do that, you're developing a certain type of culture because you're getting certain type of players in the dressing room, in the clubhouse, and that is just festers all throughout.
Yeah.
You get mediocre type of players, you get a mediocre type of culture, and then you have a head coach who probably deserved another year fired because you gave him this mediocre team and said, do something with it. When I'm sure Bylsma is begging, just give me some better players. Like, let's get it. Trade somebody. Let's go. So it's that's what it comes down to. And culture is more than just the chants and, the way a team plays. Culture starts at the top. If the guys who are responsible for making decisions aren't clearly sending a message to their players, we're going to try to put the best team together that we have, you lose it. And I think that's what happened. That's what's happened with both of these franchises.
I sometimes wonder if Seattle isn't like a wholly unique market, but I wonder if something about the market itself allows teams to do stuff like that. Like, for instance, this is what I'm wondering. Seattle is a market where there is an influx of a lot of people not from Washington State that come here for, let's say, high-paying tech jobs or whatever. So if you're an organization like the Kraken, and I'm grateful to have the NHL here in Seattle, just like I'm grateful to have any sports team that I cover here in Seattle. Like, me saying I want more from my team is not the same as me saying I don't want that team or else. You know what I mean? But I wonder if a team like the Kraken, they get here and they go, we can charge a ton of money because Seattle's a relatively affluent city. We can make this more of like the nostalgia of a team or the fan experience of a team as opposed to a hockey culture that we're feeding into. Again, I know T-Birds fans roll deep. Like, I know that there already is an existing hockey culture in Seattle, but I'm just saying, I think the uniqueness of the city allowed for, well, there's also a marketing opportunity here. And that sometimes teams lean too heavily into that, as opposed to the pressure of die-hard, more aggressive cities that they place on teams to win.
Yeah. No,
I'm just saying, and I'm from here. Like, this isn't me saying, oh, Seattle, blah, blah, blah. I grew up literally 15 minutes south of our station right now. But I'm saying, as someone who's from here, and Curtis can attest to this too, that there is a difference in the level of aggression about sports teams when they lose versus when they win.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you are continually winning, you're going to do what it takes to keep that going. But if you're losing so often, I mean, it's just kind of like you're waiting for that one thing to break your way.
And when you're losing and you can still charge $50 for someone to come in and get 2 beers, like, it's... So again,
$50 for 2 beers is right on the money for climate pledge pricing.
Yeah. So I wonder if part of what they did is kind of take advantage of a market that was still figuring out how to call for things that they needed. And I hope that call gets louder.
Yell from the mountaintops.
You know?
Yeah.
I can see them on a clear day.
But that's the thing. You're not going to, that pressure ain't going to do nothing, though. It hasn't done anything here.
Well, what if the NBA shows up next? That could be pressure, because then all of a sudden the Kraken are worried about becoming the 4th team in town.
All right, we are taking your calls. Jumping back to the NFL draft. The pick is in at number 18. Matt, can I get my little draft bell again? At pick 18. What name, what position, what move do you want to hear from the Seattle Seahawks? Call now, 866-979-3776.
The 2025 NFL Draft tomorrow.
First real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Tomorrow, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory is a little different. We actually reach out to the small business world, to Joel Taylor and Sean O'Donnell from Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants. Sean, when Joel brought this to you, the idea of why don't we take this First Mark Challenge victory, what was your thought?
My goal was to save some money and to simplify our operations. We've got 6 locations now, and along with that comes complications. And when things get complicated, things that are important get forgotten. First Mark was able to simplify that and also save us money.
Not only have they saved us money, they helped us identify some blind spots in our policies. Their service team has been phenomenal, unparalleled in my experience, given us a lot more solutions with better coverage, and just made too much sense.
First Mark's just made it easy for us.
So if you're a business owner and your insurance is in need of simplifying and streamlining and eliminate the stress, do what Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants did. Reach out to First Mark Insurance. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance, your teammate in the business world too, going to work for you.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit SUPLinen.com.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Time for a quick MLB scoreboard check-in on a Wednesday afternoon. Reds up 3-2, top of the 8th. Yanks up on the Guardians 4-1, bottom of the 6th. Aaron Judge 2 for 3, including a triple with a walk. Phillies and Mets tied up, bottom of the 6th. Padres, one of the hottest teams to start the season, being shut out by the Tigers. Just a single hit allowed through 7.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. The pick is in for the Seahawks at 18. What name do you want to hear? You can also choose a position. Maybe you want to hear that the Seahawks traded back. Maybe you want them to trade up, get really aggressive, and maybe take Ashton Genty. Maybe there's another quarterback you have your eye on. Whatever it is, you are calling in now. 866-979-3776. Don't be shy. We have just over 29 hours away from the start of the NFL draft when the Seahawks are on the board at pick 18.
You did that math?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. So when the Seahawks are on the board at 18, Scott and Redmond, our first caller, wants to see what?
Well,
if we don't trade back and sit there, I want us to pick to be a quality player. Somebody who's going to be here for 4 years, because you don't know what they're going to do. If there's that wide receiver there, I know Salt could go crazy because he doesn't like that pick. But there's so many offensive linemen. I just want quality people. I just don't like all these, just throwing bodies out there, trying to find somebody with multiple picks. That hasn't been working for us. But I want the quality person, somebody it's a contributor that's going to,
Yeah. So you don't want to see him trade back. You're like, just use this 18 pick, get a first rounder.
Yeah, because then I don't want to try to draft people by volume. They keep trying to get more picks to try to hit talent. But if there's that talented guy there, I want somebody that's going to make a difference now, not a project, day two guy like Darrell Taylor, L.J. Collier. There's a couple of names right there that we swung and missed on. But that's my opinion. Everybody's got them, but can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. I figure we're going to draft around 7:15.
Can't wait for it, Scott. Thanks for calling. Scott said, look, I don't have a particular name that I'm diehard about, but I just don't want to hear that they've traded back. When I hear that draft chime at 18, I want to hear the Seahawks have selected immediately following that.
I'm with that. If they do trade back, they have to hit. The only one thing I would disagree with is that the more shots you have, the better chance you have of hitting. Now, you don't have an 18 pick, so if you do trade back and you get 2 or 3 more picks, the chances of you finding a couple starters is obviously a lot higher. But I'm with them when it comes to just get a dude at 18, man. Don't get a quarterback. Get a dude, because we've heard it plenty of times throughout the last month or so. The talent ain't great, but they're all bundled up in the back. So I think 18 is kind of where it starts to get diluted a little bit, but it ain't all the way clear water yet. There's still some juice in there.
All right, call in now with who you want to see the Seahawks pick at 18 or what you want to see them do at 18. Like our first caller said, I just don't want to see him trade back. 866-979-3776. Robert and Issaquah's on the clock. The pick is in. You guys are going to hear that over 250 times this weekend. Robert, who or what do you want to see from the Seahawks at 18?
Will Campbell out of LSU, 322 pounds, 6'6". Guy is a man muncher, left guard. We need someone like that. And if we're not taking him, then take Abdul Carter, defensive end, 259 pounds out of
He ain't going to be there, bro.
Do you want him to trade up?
That'd be nice, though. That'd be nice.
But we got to get Will Campbell. If he's there, take him. The dude is a man muncher. He will crush you, and it would help our offensive line. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt's not comfortable with man muncher as a description.
Respectfully, pause. Man muncher. That isn't. I don't think that's radio friendly. I need to stop saying that. But he's right. I mean, Will Campbell, big dude. He's a guy that has gotten popular as the process has gone on, even more popular and more popular. And, he's a big boy. He can move a little bit. And he's played in the SEC. No longer the best conference in football. You got to give that to the Big Ten at this point. But, no, I wouldn't be mad at Will Campbell. But I think
Robert's going to want to trade up pretty high for Will Campbell. If you want Will Campbell or Abdul Carter, you got to be 2, 3, 4, 5.
Abdul, woo.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob is a GM. He's making some moves.
Rob said, I didn't come here to play around. Give me the phone. Give me the phone. He said, who do you guys want? Cam Ward? Let me make a call. 866, I love Robert. 866-979-3776. Time for my draft chime. Mike calling from Seattle. Mike, who do you want to see at 18?
Well, I want a blue chip player because there's a lot of people you can draft, but they aren't blue chip. They're not for a sure draft pick. If I can't get a blue chip at 18, then I want to trade for more draft capital.
Okay, so if you're saying if I'm in that war room for Seattle and they have no more names with a first-round grade, then get the heck out of that round.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Mike. Another Mike. Bump. What do you think?
That's the tough part about that is where does the blue chippiness stop?
Good question. Some people say after 10.
Exactly. I'm just looking at the site that I use to when I analyze players, NFLDraftBlitz.com, and they have Shador ranked number 12, and he's probably the most polarizing figure in this draft, right? If he's ranked 12 overall, all positions, then that's where it's going to stop, right? Because I feel like he's not the best quarterback. The best player in this draft isn't a quarterback. It's Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Abdul Carter. But if he's 12, that's where it stops. And at 18, they're saying you're not going to get a blue chipper who should be available. When it comes to this rankings, you have Tyler Warren at 13 when it comes to rankings. You have Will Johnson at 15. You have Nick Amaware at 18. Amaware might be where it stops, honestly. But I also like James Pierce out of Tennessee as well. So it's perspective. Like, saying you want a blue chipper means that you have to tell us what it means to you, because it can mean something different for anybody.
All right, another pick is in. Jason and Everett ready to announce the Seahawks pick at 18. Jason, who you got?
I got to say Gray Zabel. If he's available, we have to take him. I'm down to trade and move if one of those two best O-linemen are gone.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think you're going to set Sam Darnold up for failure if you don't have protection for him. And if their plan is to move on to another quarterback after, the 1 year and grab someone else and pick the best available, then that's fine. But if you're planning to make this year a success, you got to protect Sam Darnold.
All right, thanks for the call, Jason. Bump, what do you make of Gray Zabel if he's available? Bars from Jason at 18.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I think that pick will probably appease most of Seahawks fans.
I agree.
Because everyone is looking at this offensive line, what they can and can't do. You have a quarterback who's coming in who's not really mobile. You want to be able to protect him. Not mad at the pick. I think that's probably the most popular pick when it comes to Seahawks fans.
Let's head back to the phone lines. Christian in Lake Taps is on the phone, and at 18, you're ready to do what?
If a blue chip prospect like Will Johnson falls at 18, I think you got to cartwheel up to the podium to get him in. Let Spoon eat in the slot. Nehemiah Pritchett's probably not your starting corner when you go nickel. They stay in nickel a lot. I hate seeing Byron Murphy at playing one tech. I'd love to see Kenneth Grant take over that role, get Byron Murphy back in the three tech. Or if an absolute freak show like Jahad Campbell's there at 18, I mean, he can play everywhere for you. And you know how much Mike McDonald likes his force multiplier. So those would be my three guys.
My follow-up question for you before we let you go, before you hang up, a lot of defensive options for you. And, again, some of these are guys that would have to fall, right? Will Johnson is 11th on Mel Kiper's big board. Campbell probably won't be there. But I like the takes. I like going defense. Why are you favoring defensive playmakers in the first round? Because I'll tell you right now, I like the take, but not every Seahawks fan is going to want that. They're going to want, like Bump said, an offensive lineman.
I still have a lot of faith in Christian Haynes. They ran a lot of wide zone at UConn when he was in college. I think this offense will benefit him a lot. And I think you can get a guy like Donovan Jackson, Jonas Savainia, or even like a Wyatt Milam in the second round. I don't think you need to reach. Well, reach is the wrong word, because you can get great offensive linemen in the first round, obviously. But I just don't think that's where they need to go at 18. You can do that at 50 or 52.
Thanks for the call, Christian. Bump, what do you make of not just going defense, but maybe even more particularly going with a corner with that first pick?
It would have to be Will Johnson. I mean, if Will Johnson is available, then I could see that and understand that. But then that would kind of tick off the offensive line people. And the reason why I'm okay with waiting with the offensive line, even if Zabel's there, I don't mind either pick, but it's because I truly think that the line will get better in this scheme. Mm-hmm. I think that it fits the personnel a bit more. And I think, like what our caller said, that you can find other guys later in the draft when it comes to interior offensive linemen.
I'm thinking back to your point about, like, hey, I really think the Seahawks could be a top 10 defense, maybe even a top 5 offense. It's like, I guess I'm so desperate to see this team be elite with something that, to me, someone who my football IQ is not nearly that of a former player, I just go with, like, what feels like a fun pick. What can I track? What's more obviously a Pro Bowler? And to me, I go for, like, is there a pass catcher, or maybe more especially, is there someone on defense that can make you elite there? Like, I get it. An offensive lineman is your greatest area of need. But what if the most talented player is on defense and it gets you that much closer to being a top 5 defense?
I can justify every pick at every position. You really can. You can justify the quarterback.
Except for quarterback, apparently.
I mean, you can. That just tells us they are unsure about Sam Darnold, more unsure than what they lead us to believe.
Yeah.
You can justify. Only one I can't actually is a running back. Like, you don't get a running back at 18.
Yeah.
I can see a tight end, and there's two of them. Actually, three. The kid from Bowling Green is pretty good, too. Offensive lineman, I can see it. Defensive line, edge, linebacker. Linebacker is only a couple in there. That'll probably be another shaky one. But all the other positions, you can justify it. But domino effect, you got to see who's available.
All right. Justin in Kent is here to announce our next Seahawks move. Seahawks are on the clock at 18. Justin, what are they doing?
I feel like I just got drafted with that entrance. I appreciate it. But I will say I feel like the best thing and the thing that we're going to do is trade back. I think there's more value in getting more round picks than actually taking that number 18 spot. And I think something that Schneider has done is shown that he's really good at picking in the later rounds. Unless, of course, someone like we saw last year, Byron Murphy, slipped to a spot.
Yeah.
We just need a playmaker. I don't think offensive line is a smart choice regardless. I think you can, we see how this offensive line is and kind of go from there. But I don't see the offensive line, although we do need it the most, but I don't see it there. I think we need a playmaker.
Are you kind of buying John Schneider's idea that like they've actually got lots of good pieces and maybe just need some more development and coaching?
Yeah, and I think we see that with the off season, with everyone leaving and some of the people coming in. I think the first year that he had is a good taste, but I think this year is the true year that we're going to see what he had envisioned for the Seahawks moving forward.
Thanks for the call, Justin. Bump, that is now, I think, our second or third person who wants to trade back. Are you surprised with how many people are open to that?
No, I think they either believe what's being said or they see it themselves, that once you start watching film on these guys and breaking them down and ranking them, you're like, all right, there are a lot of really good players in this draft, but not a bunch of elite players in this draft. And then there could be a situation where Zabel's gone, Loveland's gone, Warren's gone, and Maware's gone. Brooks, maybe.
Yeah.
There's just scenarios where the guys that you think fit what they're doing here are out of here. So if that's the case, all right, then you trade back and see what's going on.
All right, our next pick. Kevin in Puyallup has the mic. Let's see if Kevin trades back or says a name. Kevin, what's the Seahawks move at 18?
I think they got to get a tight end, either the one from Penn State or Michigan. That's going to help the offensive line. They need to stretch it just a little bit. But is the guy from Michigan a better blocker, or is the guy from Penn State better?
Good bump
better
question.
Better blocking tight end, whoever's the best.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. Bump, better blocker between Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland?
It's Warren. Warren is a tougher type of tight end. And you need both in this offense. You need the guy who's going to motion in the backfield or motion from the backfield, connect to the line of scrimmage, get on that DN, that edge rusher, and block guys. But in his offense also, because you're going to pack it in, he's got to be able to release. And Warren can do both. I just think that Loveland provides more of a mismatch in the pass game. You can't miss with either one of these two. Warren is a route runner. Loveland is a route runner. Warren is a playmaker, and he's strong. You can't miss with either one. My personal taste is Loveland.
I selfishly, I listed Loveland as like when we were like what we want them to do versus what they should do. What they should do is address the offensive line or trade back and address the offensive line. What I want them to do is take Colston Loveland. And it doesn't have to be Loveland, but I'd love a rookie that for me, it's just easy to tell by year's end that guy had a great year or not. Like I always feel like with offensive linemen, granted, we're lucky to have Ray Roberts and people who we can be like, how's he developing? What's he look like? Right. We can see as a whole whether the run game, for instance, improves. But like, I'm kind of intrigued by the idea of like, oh, look, the Raiders with Brock Bowers, who is a better prospect overall. Yeah. Like he would have gone before Loveland. He would have gone before 18, clearly. But like, man, how fun. How fun when you have like an obvious impact or an obvious Pro Bowler, someone who's touching the ball, who's getting receptions, who's getting interceptions, whatever it is.
They call that the sexy pick, Stacy.
The sexy pick is what I want. I want a sexy pick at 18. Dell in Florida. Dell, what should the Seahawks do at 18?
Trade back with the Browns, pick up the best lineman that dropped to the second round, and also get the first pick of the third round. So that means the second round has 3 players and the third round has 3 players.
Thanks for the call, Dell. Dell did not give me a sexy pick at 18, but he did give me a sexy trade that gives Seattle 6 overall picks on day 2.
He did. He mentioned the Browns, trade back with the Browns. They have the first pick in the second round. You would have to get their third round pick too, I believe, but it'd be the number 3 pick in the third round, not the first one. If you're trying to get both of those, right, 65, the first pick in the third, you got to work out a deal with the Giants. If you're going Giants, you might as well go through the scenario that Daniel Jeremiah put out there and get 3 picks with them. Again, okay with that. This is probably the first time. This is what, my 8th draft I'm covering. It's probably the first time where I'm completely fine with them moving back. In other drafts, I'm like, come on, man, make this pick, make this pick. But because I understand who John Schneider is and my expectations are a bit different, and I understand exactly what this draft has on the back end, it's probably the most back-end draft I've ever covered. So circumstances, man, it creates scenarios, and that scenario is something I can see going down.
This draft is really around the middle.
Yeah.
866-979-3776. Charlie in Ellensburg with our next pick. The pick is in. Charlie, who you got at 18?
Your Seattle Seahawks are bringing sexy back. They're drafting 2025 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, Michael Williams.
That's a sexy pick.
Get another shot. We're not going to get another shot at an edge rusher for 10 years. I mean, McDonald won 10 games his first year. We're not picking below 20 in the first round from now on. So we might as well latch on to somebody that falls. When you get top 10 talent that falls to pick 18, that's sexy, baby. Thanks, guys.
Charlie understood the assignment, and he delivered it on time.
He did.
What do you make of Michael Williams at 18 overall for the Seattle Seahawks?
Said I can make an argument for everybody. You're waiting to see if Uchenna Nwosu is capable of staying healthy throughout a year, right? He's coming back, restructured his contract. Okay, let's see what that happens. Is Boye Mafe going to continue to take steps forward? What about Derek Hall? I mean, those are 3 names right there. You can add a 4th to that group and keep that rotation nice and fresh. And it's about giving Mike McDonald the personnel on defense to let him be the genius that everyone says that he is. Right? If you don't have all the pieces, you're not going to call certain stunts. You're not going to call certain coverages. You are handcuffed and limited to your personnel. If Williams allows Mike McDonald to do that, go ahead and get him.
All right, we got 2 more picks. First, Brent in Bremerton, which sounds like the name of a boyfriend I've made up. Brent, what do you want to see the Seahawks do at 18?
Yeah, I want to see the Seahawks. Same deal. Michael Williams. If you don't get this guy, then you just trade up. You go back and you get a big quarterback because you went from small to 6'2" to 6'3". And then you got back to 6'5". And then you can get later on in the draft Rourke at a 6'6", 6'7".
Wait, quarterback?
Back in the draft. If you
Trade
don't
back in the draft. Okay.
Yeah, back. Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Brent. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and combine it with one other caller so we can get to both here. We're going to go to Jeremy in Linwood. Jeremy, you got the last pick, but it's still pick 18. What do you want to see the Seahawks do?
I like the defense going with Inouye. But John Schneider's past history with tight ends, if one of those tight ends, Loveland or Warren, is available, I feel like he's going to take them. If not, then he might trade back. But I would like that strong safety. We need to put fear back into the back end of the defense.
All right, Jeremy in Linwood says bring the boom back. Now, I hate Legion of Boom references. I really do. Not because I didn't appreciate the Legion of Boom, clearly.
You'll never see it again.
But because you're never going to see it again. However, Jeremy is not alone in this take. I've seen a lot of people say, hey, that South Carolina safety is looking pretty good at 18. Bump, I know he's your personal pick, that if you got to choose who you want to see. So I'll give you the floor for the final minute here on just if you were to answer this question, who you want to see and why.
I would go with Jeremy and Linwood. I want to see Inouye. And it allows the defense to be versatile, just the same way Williams does as well, right? It allows – I feel like it allows Mike McDonald to call the type of game that he wants to call, to be aggressive when he wants to be, to bluff when he wants to bluff, and especially the way that they use 3 safeties. You got 2 high, you got 1 in the box, you walk another one in the box. It's just the pre-snap movement forces the offensive line to communicate, the quarterback to verify things. I like the versatility that Williams and Amawari brings.
A good question. Last one here quickly from the 509. Why is everyone assuming you're going to have a trade back partner? If everyone knows the meat of the draft is a later round, why would anyone want to move up? Such a good question. The only thing I'll say to this, because you're right, there are multiple reports, including from Adam Schefter, that not only are few teams wanting to trade up, but that there are a lot of teams wanting to trade back. Well, if no one wants to trade up, how are you trading back? I think that what you're probably hoping for if you're a Seahawks fan is that someone tries to leapfrog a team in the 20s to overdraft a quarterback, or that you have someone that does slip. So maybe for some reason you have someone that's falling, no one's quite sure why, and someone jumps up to get them. Maybe there's a run on wide receivers, right? Like you see something that adds a sense of urgency and someone's willing to pull the trigger and probably overdraft. And that's what you're probably hoping for if you're
banking on someone falling in love with one of these prospects and saying, we need to grab him. I can't believe he's available.
All right, taking a look around the NFL next.
The John Schneider Show
with Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
John, since we talked to you last week, there's a new backup quarterback in town.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
I think it's a great situation. We have 4 guys that we really like. It doesn't preclude us from doing anything in the draft either, and figuring out what's going on there. It's really like, let's get this in the mix. Drew had other opportunities, so we figured we better kind of put a bow on it.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we provide top quality windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and stay clear with low maintenance glass. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Right now, have ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down with 0 interest and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Getting a new battery should be easy. At Pacific Power Batteries, you won't go in with a battery problem and come out with a new transmission. Instead, we can test your battery to see if it's actually the problem. Maybe it's the alternator. We don't sell alternators, so we have no motivation to sell you one or even a new transmission. We have load testers and conductance testers, hydrometers and voltmeters whenever needed. I'm Steve Almond, and I invite you to our family-owned Pacific Power Batteries. You can trust us with any battery problem, and we'll top off the blinker fluid for free.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, and if you're interested in a backyard oasis, come explore the latest trends in outdoor living, patio, and deck design during the grand opening of People Come First Construction Group's new Luxury Design Center. It's this Friday starting at 11 a.m. and is a special offer. During the event only, PCF Group will cover the sales tax on grills, appliances, furniture, hot tubs, and more. Plus, meet industry designers and innovators, as well as celebrity guests, including, well, yours truly from 3 to 5 p.m., along with current NFL player Brady Russell and NFL alumni president Randall Morris. The new PCF Group Design Center is designed to be an immersive experience for customers, showcasing just how outdoor spaces elevate home living, relaxation, and entertainment. Food and beverages will be available, giveaways, and you'll have the chance to view their state-of-the-art virtual reality system. So come check out PCF Group's new exterior design premier gallery, grand opening this Friday starting at 11 a.m. For more details, visit PCFgroup.com or call 206-992-0364.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here and it's time to make some changes. I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Rowland-Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start with Adam Schefter again. Adam, making the rounds. From this afternoon's Sports Center, Shefty with the latest intel he's hearing on possible first-round trades.
I think there's just been as much talk about teams going the Browns to see if they'd want to move back into the end of the first round as there has been teams trying to come up. Look, we have not seen a trade yet with a team involving its first-round draft pick. Every team still holds its initial first-round draft pick, and we'll probably get some action tomorrow night at some point in the draft. But right now, it's been quiet. It continues to be quiet. That's partly because of the quarterback draft class that is not as good as other years. It's partly because teams value the players in the second and third round in this draft. We may see a move for a pick at 2 or 3, but right now it has been quiet there.
Bump, pre-draft coverage is always interesting because it's always super trendy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of trendy people, welcome to pre-draft coverage. At first, it's no one wants to trade up. And then as we inch closer, now a day out from the first round, it's not just Adam Schefter, but several people going, oh, well, the thing about this draft is that some people want to trade back up into the late first round.
Yeah, so if no one wants to trade up, then how are you going to trade back? That's, that's not how that works. You know, math ain't mathing at that. But, yeah, Adam sounds tired, man. I'm sure
I bet you he is tired.
When this is done, he is going to sleep for like 3 days. Listen, we've heard everything. We've heard Shador at 3. We've heard Hawks moving back. We've heard them moving up. We've heard Jackson Dart second round, no first round. We've heard Milroe into the first round, now second round. This is where it gets crazy. The next 20 hours or so, are going to be absolutely nuts. And I'm here for it, though, because he's right. No one's made any moves in the first round yet. If it stays this way, it'll be the first time since 2001. And I hope it stays that way. Like, stick to your spot and let's see you guys move. But that does mean that the quarterback class isn't as talented and people aren't as intrigued.
Well, and the quarterback class is going to dictate a lot of what happens. And you, as a listener, may be really tired of hearing about Shedeur Sanders. He's not a Washington quarterback. He's not a local guy. He's not going to be drafted to the Seahawks. So I get it. However, I think part of the reason that we're all focusing on him isn't just that he's Primetime's kid or that he, might be the number 2 quarterback off the board, but also that he could dictate some of those trades. Like, I was thinking to myself a question to ask you, and I was going to be like, what might make it more likely we see trades? And I knew automatically the answer would be if Shedeur Sanders falls. If Shedeur Sanders makes it past the Saints, then I think we do see movement.
He's the one that shakes it up.
Yeah, so like it or not, the reason everyone's talking about him is because he could change the texture of this first round just by slipping.
Yeah.
So I think it does matter quite a bit what happens in that top 10 when it comes to him. One thing that I haven't really questioned is whether or not Ashton Jeanty is going to go to the Raiders, but maybe I should be. Here's more from Adam Schefter.
Everybody in the world has had Ashton Jeanty going there, and I'm not so sure about that either. I think that the Raiders are open to moving back. Whenever I hear a team is open to moving back, that tells me that they're not married to anyone at that spot. Now, that means they could stay at 6 and they could pick Ashton Jeanty, but they don't sound so committed to Ashton Jeanty currently that they're not prepared to move back. So everybody's got Ashton Jeanty going 6. I say I'm not so sure about that.
How dare you not commit to Ashton Jeanty, although the idea of committing to a first-round running back doesn't usually work out, so I can understand. What do you think?
It worked out. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. It's worked out the last couple years.
I know, but you can find lots of other examples of it not working.
Yeah, but none of these guys put up the numbers that Jeanty has, but I do think they're probably more talented.
Yeah.
And the reason why the Raiders might be okay moving back is because this running back class is so deep, too. They're saying, all right, if we don't get Jeanty, we can get Hampton. If we don't get Hampton, we can get Henderson out of Ohio State. If we don't get Henderson, we can get Sampson out of Tennessee. Maybe even Scatterbo. It's so deep that maybe they're okay with that. But do you realize something that's going on right here? Shefty is challenging everything that everyone is saying at this point. He said, Shedeur is going to move back. The Raiders are okay moving back. It's like, who do you believe in? It's like I'm standing on a busy highway and just looking at the traffic go by. I'm looking left, I'm looking right. This is what it feels like, and this is the chaos that happens during the draft that I'm here for.
Okay, so we've got Tennessee at the top, Browns, Giants, Patriots are going to take the best tackle available, and then you get to the Jags at number 5, and there were reports that the Jags were willing to trade back. So beginning with number 5, you have teams that were willing to kind of move back because you go past Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, and Cam Ward. And
yeah, especially look at the Jets at 7. They got their quarterback. They re-signed a DB, re-signed a receiver. They got defensive personnel. Carolina is going to stay put. Y'all need to pick as many players as you can.
Here's my question. If Ashton Jeanty, we've talked about what happens with Shedeur, that if Shedeur slips by the Giants, he's probably going to go past the Jets and go all the way to New Orleans. If he goes by New Orleans, maybe everyone's eyeing Pittsburgh at 21. What if Ashton Jeanty falls past the Raiders at 6? Then what?
Carolina, possibility. I believe Chuba's still over there. New Orleans, you have Kamara. Chicago, you have Swift. That's a possibility. San Francisco, they keep a plethora of running backs back there. I think one of the candidates to trade up has to be Dallas because they need a running back in the worst way over there. They I think his name was Rico Dwindle. They let him go this year. You don't have a run game. How do you help out your quarterback? How do you help out CeeDee Lamb? You get yourself a run game. So I'm looking at Dallas as one of the potential teams that will try to move up and grab a Jeanty. Maybe they make a deal with the Raiders.
I want it to be Dallas, not because I love Dallas, obviously, but it's just kind of a spicy move that makes it interesting. However, I don't think there's a chance he gets past Chicago at 10.
Yeah.
Like, I think if he lands at 10, he's a Chicago Bear. But I don't know. What do I know? Diana Rossini knows a lot. She's reporting our next story. The Steelers, Browns, and even the Vikings have interest in trading for Kirk Cousins.
The Vikings and who?
Kirk Cousins.
No, the Vikings. There's another team in there, you said, or you just said the Vikings?
Steelers and Browns.
Steelers, Browns, Vikings. If I'm the Browns, I'm making a move for Kirk Cousins right now, especially because we think that they're going to go Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. You need a veteran over there. The Vikings, if I'm Kirk Cousins, I don't want to, obviously you don't have a say in this because you'll be traded, But they need a backup over there because you don't know what J.J. McCarthy's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they grabbed Sam Darnold, and look how it worked out for him. And, Kirk Cousins will be the most sought-out veteran at this point when it comes to trades.
Speaking of quarterbacks, John Lynch talks about the latest on contract talks with Brock Purdy.
I think there's been some substantive talks that have this thing going in a good direction, and I'll leave it at that. He's a very clear-minded and not going to let other people influence what he should be doing, and it's one thing everybody I think respects about Brock. He's done a lot for this organization, and we're grateful for him, and looking forward to having him as our quarterback for a long time.
I know it's been a topic of conversation. It's always going to be the case when it comes to a quarterback getting big money. Is there any doubt in your mind the 49ers eventually pay Brock Purdy?
They have to pay him. And what are you going to do? You have the 11th pick, so if you don't pay him, that means that you're going to grab that third quarterback if he's available. And why aren't we talking about that? We should be talking about that because there are rumors going around that they would trade for him. The only problem with that is who's going to trade for Brock Purdy? I said yesterday that I don't think he elevates a team, and someone texted me, Mom, you don't know that? No, I don't know that, but I'm an analyst, and it's my job to give you my opinion. Okay, so I think that he has to be in the right system. He would have to be in a Rams system. He has to be obviously a Niners system, the last year's Saints type of system, that play action West Coast type of deal. I don't know if you can ask Brock Purdy to step back in a traditional offense, throw the football 30 to 40 times, and elevate your team. I don't think that. Why? Because I just watched the film and I try to put him in other places. If they don't get a deal with Purdy, which I think they are, then they should be candidates. They should be talked about more when it comes to getting.
Massive mistake.
Yeah, it would be.
You've got too many departing pieces on departing pieces on defense. You got to look at that secondary. They should take the best corner. They should take someone great on defense. Taking a quarterback there would be a massive mistake for them.
If they trade Brock Purdy. If they trade Brock Purdy and they want to start this thing all over and say, look, we've developed quarterbacks. We got $39 million in cap space right now. He saves you. Doesn't save you a lot, but he saves you enough for you to go and build all over again. That needs to be talked about a bit more. Until that deal is done with Brock Purdy, I think we should pay attention to that.
We've spent the first part of today talking about this Seahawks trading back, but there could be a name that makes them trade up. That's next.
The 2025 NFL Draft tomorrow.
First real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Tomorrow, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Andre. Andre, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I were going to get married, and we wanted to combine our insurance for both home and auto.
Were they able to save you any money?
The money they quoted us was actually the same as what we were paying separately. However, the coverage that we received was immensely greater than what we were previously receiving. It's quite scary how unprotected we were with our previous coverage. Under First Mark, I'd probably say we doubled the coverage that we had. It was a huge deal.
What would you tell others they can expect when they make that call to First Mark?
Take the 15-minute phone call. It's totally free. It's not going to cost me a thing. And the very least that could happen is just gain a better understanding. The best that could happen is you could either save money or get much better coverage, which is exactly what happened.
Andre did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. Zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply, with locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
Well, here in our region, it's really common for homes to have damaged insulation or even no insulation at all in their crawl space or attic. Well, in the winter, that'll make your home cold and drafty. And in the summer months, it can turn your home into an oven. It's Mike Salk here, and utility companies have special incentives right now to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yes, they will cover up to 95% of the cost. And if you're anything like me, you love the idea of somebody else paying to improve your home, add value to it, and save you money along the way. How good does that sound? Don't wait. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and then what energy rebates you're eligible for. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Curtis, Gary Ridgway is the second most prolific serial killer in the U.S. Samuel Little, the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history.
I've not heard of that name.
No, I thought it was Gary Ridgway, number one. Tye High School alum.
He's from Cali
He's
too,
number
right?
two. Yeah,
LA.
number one guy is from L.A.
Just win. No, take
No,
it back.
Bob!
Take it back.
Bob!
I'm sorry.
I'm sitting here. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
Lakers in
sorry.
5. Lakers in 5.
I'm sorry.
Inappropriate. We have taken quite a break from the Mariners, and I am sorry for that, but I promise we're getting back to it. Rowland-Smith is joining us in less than 15 minutes. And then we got the Farm Report, a conversation with Logan Evans coming up at 1:30. So before we get to any of that, one more quick draft conversation here. A home run pick for the Hawks in round 2, plus a name worth trading up for Daniel Jeremiah on with Brock and Salk this morning. Talked about first that home run pick in round 2, wide receiver Luther Burden.
Oh, I mean, Burden's going to be the most talented of all those guys. And there's teams, I know a lot of teams
One of the things I do during this time of year is I call the schools, and I want to see who's doing last-minute homework, because it is just like we all were in high school, where like there's people cramming for the tests and they just want to make sure that they got it right. And so there's a lot of teams back of one that are doing last-minute work on Burden. So he could sneak in there, but if he's not, like that's a value pick, really talented kid. He's going to go early in the second round at worst. The two Iowa State kids are really, really good. They both can run. They're just, you know, a little different size, a little different skill set, but good players.
I just listened to yesterday's Move the Sticks, normally with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. This time it was Bucky Brooks and Lance Zierlein. Lance Zierlein really, really high on Luther as well. And I don't want to misquote him, so I'm kind of paraphrasing. I think he said he wouldn't be shocked if Luther Burden ended up having the best rookie season of a lot of these wideouts, or one of the better rookie seasons, because they were talking about kind of under the radar prospects. It's like everyone's talking about Matthew Golden. Everyone's talking about Teterow and McMillan, bear down, but not enough people talking about Luther.
You know who he kind of reminds me of?
Who's that?
And he's a bit more elusive with the ball in his hands.
Can you give us hints and then we can guess?
Yeah, sure. My man went to 2 schools, not uncommon these days.
Okay.
Has flow. He's got flow. He's got some flow.
Some flow. Oh, was he ever with the Giants?
No.
Oh, I thought you meant like rap flow.
No, like flow, the hair flow. Hair flow. Hair
Are
flow.
we talking Darren Waller?
No.
Tight end.
Darren Waller's getting better.
But you
better.
said flow. I was going to say he's admittedly got flow, but he's not a wide receiver.
I'll give you one more. Go Cougs, but not my Cougs.
Tank Dell?
BYU.
Puka. Yes. He's got Puka's like stronger and more of a I'm gonna run you over type of dude. He's strong as well, but he's got that elusiveness as well, man. It's when you watch his film, I mean, they're throwing 5-yard outs, shallows, hitches, and he's catching it, getting upfield, and making guys miss. His numbers aren't gonna impress you from last year. 61 catches, 677, and 6 touchdowns. But the year before, he had 1,200. Wonder what the drop-off was there. But he's the perfect receiver for the Kubiak, the Rams, the Shanahans, the O'Connells, the Ben Johnsons, like the offense that we're saying. What are you laughing at? What'd I say?
I'm sorry.
What'd I say?
I'm trying not to laugh. But someone just texted in. That was Ruthless Bump. LA's just out here with I just remembered it.
I thought I said something. I'm like, what'd I say?
No,
what'd I say?
I was trying not to laugh, and then I started
That one
crying.
really got you. You normally don't laugh that hard. That one really got
it's
you.
like I kind of forgot about it, and I was like, hey, focus. And then a texter sent it in, and I was like, stop it.
Oh, man, it was a joke. I'm sorry. Back to Luther, though.
I like that comp, though.
Yeah, he's a Puka kind of guy. He'll make, you know how Puka makes tough catches, but it's not like, you remember Lloyd for the Niners back in the day? Skinny receiver. Brandon Lloyd, right? He played for the Niners for
Denver
and New England, I think. So, yeah. Like, he doesn't make those type of catches, you know, where your body's extended and you're laying out, but he has a way of positioning his body to making the tough one. So, yeah, I could see that. That's a nice little sleeper pick there.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to end with that point about potentially moving up for a name. So that's the last cut I'm going to get to. Before we get to that, let's talk about running backs, mid-round running backs. We know it's a great class. We know that John Schneider has praised this class and said there's a ton of rare talent. I think everyone's kind of expecting him to take one. It's a matter of when. Daniel Jeremiah on mid-round running backs.
I'm curious to see if the first one sneaks into the 3rd round, because he's just one of my favorite players to watch. But R.J. Harvey from UCF is just explosive. Like, everybody's hunting explosives, and he's someone that absolutely gives you that. So I love that. I mean, look, Scattaboo would be kind of fun if anybody can appreciate physical running. It's a Seattle group. That would be fun to kind of see him. He's there in that mix for me. There's kind of like the different styles. Like the home run hitters are R.J. Harvey. Then you've got Tootin from Virginia Tech, Jaden Blue from Texas, who's like a total mismatch in the pass game. He could be a fun weapon that way. I mean, again, there's a bunch of these guys. Devin Neal's just a good, solid player from Kansas, kind of a no-frills. But given my choice, like, give me the R.J. Harvey, give me the Jaden Blue. Like, I want a home run hitter.
Jordan Reed mentioned Neal the other day, I think. You've mentioned Scattaboo. When would you want to see Seattle strike and take a running back?
Just in the later rounds, because I feel like you can get him.
Like 4-ish,
3,
4.
Yeah, but going back to Harvey, though, I mean, Harvey is, I'm going to assume he's from Florida. I'm just going to assume, because Florida Florida creates the most explosive football players I've ever seen in my life. True story. I was down in Florida training for the NFL, training with a bunch of Florida boys, and I asked them, how the heck are y'all so fast? And they said, bro, we literally chase rabbits growing up. We chase them.
That was when we talked to Ray Sean Jenkins.
Yeah, and if
he said that.
It's real. I had to verify. I go, look, these dudes told me that they chase rabbits. It is crazy how quick and agile these dudes are. Let me look up RJ. He's got to be from.
I see rabbits up here in Seattle.
You don't think about chasing them, no?
No. I tried to get one.
Tried to get one.
I had some carrots and lettuce, and I was like throwing it in the yard at the rabbit, and he wasn't taking it.
He's from Orlando, exactly. What I say, when I can tell a Florida boy running when I see it, they just move differently. RJ gives you that one of the most explosive players in this draft.
I'd be a faster runner, I think, if I tried to run after the rabbit rather than just get it to come to me with food. That was my mistake. Daniel Jeremiah on possibly moving up in the first round. This case, Jalen Walker.
I mean, the absolute latest I would wait is at pick 14. If he got, because I feel like I've given you guys all my mock draft. The Falcons are a pass rush team. I just can't imagine Atlanta, University of Georgia, elite player, position of need. Like, I would think you have to get in front of them.
Jalen Walker on, let me see Mel Kiper's big board. He is 10. Again, though, you're going to have quarterbacks that push him back, some linemen that push him back. So there's a world where it happens.
I love Jalen.
Is that who Dave mentioned the other day?
Maybe. I like Jalen because he can line up and rush off the edge. He can also line up in the A and the B and put pressure right there. A versatile type of player. The toughest part about watching film on these guys is that you watch the game film, and obviously, there are plays where they're not successful. But when they shine, they shine. If you're talking about the first 25 players in this draft, they're going to do something to make you like what they bring to the table. Now it's about seeing if they fit into what this defense wants or what this offense wants. But players like Walker, anybody would take. Players like Harvey, I'm telling you, if you get your hands on Harvey, he reminds me of remember Austin back in the day? Had one of the sickest highlight tapes I've ever seen.
Avon Austin.
Yes.
Gino's teammate at West Virginia.
Avon or Tavon?
Tavon.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google this
like
during
that.
the break.
Now, that's the greatest highlight tape you've ever seen in your life. He ain't Tavon. Ever. The best college highlight tape you've ever seen in your life. Probably better than Reggie Bush's.
What?
Yeah.
It like went viral. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking
People
this
up. Still look at it today.
Okay, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to go get a Diet Coke, and I'm going to watch Tavon Austin tape. And when we get back, we're talking Mariners with Rowland-Smith. Don't go anywhere.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile Well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel. Let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
MLB scoreboard check-in. Phillies, Mets tied up 2-2. Mets had 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 9th, but Francisco Lindor grounded out to second. Now this one headed into extras. Next up, the Mariners and Red Sox. First pitch at 3:45 p.m. Pregame show at 2:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Ryan, we've had quite
Stacey,
a bit.
hold on. Can I make a confession to Ryan real quick?
Yeah.
Whenever I think of your name, I say it with the wackest Australian accent in my head.
It's true. I did hear him say that.
Let's hear it.
Rowland-Smith. It's so bad, but that's the way it sounds in my head. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Continue, Stacy.
Ryan, honestly, I apologize. I just want to take a second to apologize on behalf of the show. Bump doesn't represent us.
By the way, just real quick on that one. When I used to, back in the day, like I'm talking 18, 19, 20, when I was just a young puppet in the States, I was really nervous about speaking, with an Aussie accent and everything. I'd go to Starbucks and like, oh, yeah, and what drink do you want? And tell them the drink. And what's the name? Oh, yeah, Ryan, like really quick. And every time they're like, oh, a 16-ounce latte for Ron. So I said Ron on every cup I ever had. There you go.
So did anyone ever make fun of you for it? Like, I know occasionally people will tease, but I feel like an Australian accent is filed under like one of the cool ones. You know what I mean? Like everyone I know that hears it mimics it immediately, but then never like makes fun of it.
I just got the old school, like throw another shrimp on the Barbie and Foster's.
Heard
pretty
that
lame.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, you deflect that off pretty easy, but yeah.
Stay strong, Ryan.
Thank you.
Ryan
Let's get into
Rowland-Smith
it.
joining us now, Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. We've had quite a bit of fun Mariners baseball. Obviously, they didn't intro you with a win here in this series against the Red Sox, but still playing some pretty solid baseball. I think that's especially been, to me, surprising on offense with some of those contributions. Is there a player not named Cal Raleigh that you have noticed some really nice production from?
Obviously, Polanco. The fact he's doing it and he can't hit, right-handed is pretty amazing. There's a couple lefties coming up the next couple of days, so we'll probably lose him. I haven't looked at the lineup yet. Maybe I should. I'm sure you guys have it in front of you. But, he's just, he just continues. It's not something where it's like, hey, a good week where he was ripping, pitches and, singles up the middle or whatever. He always talks about trying to stay up the middle. Man, I'm talking like, 2 strikes against Bayer, who's coming back, he's still nasty, even though like he's still coming back from rehab, and just launches a ball in that first inning. So I think Polanco, man, you got to give him a ton of credit for everything that we kind of talked about at the end of last year. He came in late, coming off the knees. He is still battling some injuries right now, so he's crushing. And obviously, Dylan Moore, player of the week. How can you go past him, man? Getting a chance to face righties and lefties. He's been consistent, crushing lefties like ridiculous, but also getting righties too. And he's getting to one thing I talked to him about yesterday. I watched his hands. Like his hands would kind of dip as this last year. His hands were like really kind of low. And one thing when you look at Dylan from 2024, he had a really tough time. Righties and lefties get to that heater up in the strike zone, right? Like that good 95 plus at the top of the strike zone. I watched him this year, and his hands are up nice and high. I spoke to him yesterday down here, and I said, hey, man, I noticed your hands are up high. He goes, for whatever reason, my hands start to dip as the season goes on. And he said, I've just made a really conscious effort of saying, you know what, I'm going to own that fastball at the top of the strike zone. Let's keep my hands up, keep on top of the ball. So that's one thing. And the other part, too, is he's just shown the ability to hit the ball up the middle and to the right side. 3 of the 5 home runs to center field or right field. So really good signs out of him. He's earned the everyday playing that he's getting, as opposed to being a fill-in / utility and filling a gap or just facing lefties. So those 2 guys definitely have to give special mention. And JP's starting to hit too, which is good.
One of the toughest things for me, Ryan, when I first started becoming an analyst was like talking about the negative with players. You're a former player. Like, I want to beat the guy up. Like, come on, man.
You do compliment sandwich.
Yeah. So
you seem like a nice guy.
Exactly. But I say that because I'm going to ask you to do it right now.
No. Okay.
Is there someone you think we should see less of in this lineup?
Oh, in the lineup, we should see less of. Man, God, put me on the spot here. First of all, you're ripping the accent. Now you ask me to tell someone to get out of the lineup.
I didn't rip it. I said mine is horrible.
Be nice
mine
to
is
our
guest.
First of all, and by the way, Bumpers, there's a way you can, especially if you're talking to players, there's a way you can word it so it sounds like it's coming from them. The best, real quick on this, the best tip I ever got was, he will be the first to tell you that if he's done something bad.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, like Felix Hernandez, remember when he was struggling at the end of his career? I know I've gone off topic here, but I'd say, hey, Felix will be the first to tell you that, man, he missed that changeup as opposed to, no, he just hung that thing and a 3-run bomb and all she wrote. You know what? Who we can see less of, that's a tough one because I feel like everyone's kind of contributing up and down the lineup. One guy I feel like he's so close to having that consistency, and I know we talked about Dylan Moore facing righties and lefties. I'd love to see, with Luke Raley just have a little bit more of that consistency because he is so, like, we saw this last year with him, especially facing righties. He got more platoon opportunities against righties. I feel like there is something in there where he recognizes pitches really well against lefties, unless it's that 0-2 big sweeping breaking ball. We're going to face a couple lefties the next couple of days. I love with Luke Riley. I just like watching him play. I love the way the fact he's got speed, as well as his approach. And I just want every time he comes up to hit, I'm like, man, come on, all right, just crush his ball into left center field. Take this lefty the other way, or those little things because I want to see him get more playing time. Because man, he can be such a big piece of this lineup. So how was that compliment sandwich for you?
Love it,
Stacy. What do you think?
I'm proud of you guys. I feel like it was a joint effort. I want to talk about pitching. I'm going to look at the rotation starters as a whole here. So feel free to take your time with your answer. But Ryan, I'm just wondering if there's any area for concern, if there are any early takeaways you have. I know it's very, very early, and we also have like a bad start from Emerson, right? Like random thing. Luis F. Castillo was previously a starter, so I know that these stats aren't purely reflective, but like Seattle starters 13th in ERA. They're not throwing a ton of strikeouts right now. What are you seeing that you think like, you know what, they're better than that would indicate, and what are you seeing that you're a little concerned about?
Yeah, just not the same command. The first pitch strikes since the beginning of 2023 until 2 days ago, or till now even, best in first pitch strike percentage. You look at this year in 2025, they're like 19th in first pitch strike percentage. And then with that comes kind of a little bit of a dip in regards to putting hitters away too. Like the swing and miss, they were, I want to say around the top 10 mark in the last couple of years, and that's a big sample size. Lately, though, that dips because they're just not getting in the same count. So from a rotational standpoint, well, two things. Number one, rotational standpoint, Bryce Miller talked about this. They are built on beating guys with command, if that makes sense. They're built on living in 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts. And they're built on, all right, get a guy 0-2, put him away. Like Bryce Miller threw 4+ pitches to literally, I want to say every hitter last night, except for Barr, just a couple. He was in a 3-ball count, I want to say 8 times. He was in a 2-strike count that turned into a 2-2 count. I was having a look like, I want to say 18 times, something crazy like that. So it's taken a long time to put some of these hitters away. On top of that, just the command numbers are just different this year than what they were last year. Now, Goldie made a good point on the TV side. We talked about it during the game. And he said, if this sample that we're seeing from the starting pitchers, it's been, we're close to a month into the season, 23 days into April. And if you had a stretch here in the middle of July like this, where starters aren't getting deep into games because they're 30-pitch innings because of the command, and it's kind of meshed in there between really good start of the season and then whatever, right? Like, let's say you had this stretch in July as opposed to right out of the gates. Would you think differently? And I said, yeah, that's a good point, right? But the fact it's right out of the gates, the fact your team is sort of built on this rotation with all these expectations from last year, it's kind of glaring. And then on top of that, what that does as well is you look at the bullpen. Bullpen ERA, hey, is really good. We're talking, I think they're 6th in ERA. I didn't check after last night. But they're also 3rd in innings pitched, and that concerns me. I talked to you guys about this, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. You got to be careful when you're pushing, to try and stay in your division, when you're looking at innings pitched. I know there's some reinforcements coming in with Matt Brash, and hopefully Santos can get back to what he's capable of doing. He's down in AAA right now. But the fact that you've had to, mix and match. Casey Lawrence is back today. You've had to option guys down, bring them back up. You've had to fill so many more innings because your starters aren't getting as deep. It's a little concerning as well.
That first game, I walked away from it thinking, Salk says this all the time, well, that's just baseball. I'm like, look, they've won like 6 out of their last 9. Boston's playing some good ball as well. You got Bayo on the mound. You don't know what he's going to look like. It was kind of like, all right, let's fill each other out. And am I valid for thinking that, or do you feel like that was a game the Mariners should have won or could have won?
No, I honestly feel like the Red Sox were kind of in the driver's seat all night long. You run into a Bryce Miller who wasn't the same guy. He just wasn't. He wasn't typical Bryce Miller. And the fastball, he tried so hard to kind of bounce off that last start by being fastball heavy. He was missing with that pitch a ton. He had to go to plan B, plan C. Tough to put guys away. And it was just exhausting. And this is a tough place to pitch. It really is, man. I mean, we looked at park factors last night. This is that place with doubles, not so much home runs, but doubles, singles, runs produced. This is always going to be top 3 here in Fenway. I'm not making excuses whatsoever, but if you have a situation where Bryce Miller's just not not on top of his game in regards to commands, and you give more opportunities, more base runners, you're going to get beat. This is a team that will beat you if you do that. And so we're saying all that. I feel like the Red Sox were really in the driver's seat from the get-go. And by the way, too, Brian Bayo is a guy who they nearly had him in that first inning. They really did. Ground ball double play ended that. But, man, they had Bayo on the ropes. He's a kid that, man, if he can get through that first inning and he gets in a groove, he's one of the toughest guys in baseball. He did that in the second half last year. So with all that being said, I feel like out of the gates, man, the Red Sox were really in the driver's seat all night long.
Speaking of the Red Sox and speaking of the AL West, we spoke with Jordan Shusterman earlier, and he mentioned that a conversation he'd had recently was about the best teams in the American League and how much tougher it was to figure that out versus when you're looking at teams in the National League. And Ryan, I'm guessing that many times throughout this season, we're going to talk about the AL pennant race and talk about the division race because it feels much more in reach, even for a team that's struggled like Seattle. Now that we're about a month into the season, not necessarily where you rank Seattle exactly, but do you see Seattle as remaining pretty competitive in that race?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I was talking to, when the Rangers came to town a couple of days after that, I spoke to one of their pitchers, and I said, hey, man, like, how are you guys built? Like, when you go into spring training, when all the talk and how you look at your team, how are you going to beat other teams? And he said, well, with offense. Like, our offense, when our offense gets going, we're going to be with offense. And then he says, if everything goes well with health-wise with the rotation. As soon as I heard that, I was like, well, that's a lot. I mean, that's like a big question mark, huge question mark. Now, I know the Texas Rangers beat everyone in the AL West barely a couple of years ago. They went on to win the World Series on offense. But just looking at them, looking at what I saw in regards to how you can beat them from a pitching standpoint, I still see the Mariners, I would say, either 1A or 1B with the Texas Rangers. The Houston Astros we have issues with. And again, I'm not going to say, look, last night looked rough, but they've got some good things happening. Runners in scoring position, they haven't quite gotten going just yet. But offensively, there is some really good patterns if you take away, obviously last night or a couple times where they've struck out more than 10. There's just a better approach, better feel. And I think they're slowly washing away 2024 offensively. And so I still believe, and I said this a week ago, close to a month in now, or whatever we are, them and the Texas Rangers, it's going to be kind of neck and neck. And I've said this to you guys I've said this the last couple of years. Who does what at the trade deadline to bolster or fill in the gaps? I think that's going to be that first milestone, the trade deadline. Who do you add to bolster your team to get you to through August and September?
You mentioned this already. It's easier to hit at Fenway. You got Coors Field at number 1, Fenway number 2. You got where the Royals play at number 3. Does that change the way pitchers approach batters, or do you think you just got to stick with your stuff?
You just have to stick with your stuff. I was asking myself the same question. I sat down with Liam Hendricks, who's with the Red Sox. I said, hey, man, you guys, you signed with the Red Sox. You were coming from, he was with Oakland, then he went to Chicago. I said, do guys talk about park factor in regards to the way they pitch? He's like, dude, no way, man. Like, you just have to stick with your stuff, stick with what makes you good. Now, the Red Sox are kind of there. They went into this philosophy last year, and they're kind of sticking with it, but they've sort of amended it a little bit, being breaking ball heavy. They've since realized that it doesn't quite work that way because now what are we doing? We're taking guys out of their natural game plan. Brian Bayo being a classic example. Bayo is built off that sinker, changeup, and then show the fastball at the top of the strike zone. They asked him last year, get breaking ball heavy, and there's a little bit of the park factor thrown into it because they wanted him to be the guy. It just didn't work out. And so, again, it goes back to that old school, no magic pill, no secrets here. Just what do you do very well to get you to the big leagues? And regardless of the park, just let it eat. Do your thing.
Last one here for me, Ryan. Jeff Passan was on with Brock and Salk a couple days ago and said that he doesn't know anymore or think anymore that Julio needs to play like an MVP for this team to have a really good year. That maybe he's seen enough, to have a little faith in a messy American League that they can be competitive. Do you think Julio is going to need to get into a version of MVP form for this team to be competitive, or are you kind of in the same boat where you go, I've seen enough where I don't know that Julio has to be the best?
I'm going to say yes. I think you do. I think they do have to. I really do. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're getting all this luck involved. You're getting guys enough health to get your way to the playoffs. You want to get to a place where Julio is just clicking on all cylinders. Everyone feeds off that. It's the same as last year. And you're 5-6 games up in the division, and you're leading the pack. You're in a situation where you get to that trade deadline. We can add some pieces because we know where we stand, because Julio's doing his thing and everyone underneath him is doing the same thing. You don't want to be in a situation like, hey, we can still skate on by. No. I'm telling you right now, for this team offensively, if it's a week from now and when this happens and Julio goes off, I'm telling you right now, that will be the biggest difference maker, I think, in the AL West, 100%. I still feel that way.
He is Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline ahead of this 3:45 p.m. first pitch. Fenway's looking nice out there. We'll look forward to listening to you on the call later.
Listen, hey, yeah. Stacy, I got to feel you guys. You know, I'm holding my computer up as I speak. Curtis,
your
you're welcome.
Your whole computer?
I'm holding the whole computer. My arms are dead right now. Curtis, you're welcome.
Last question, you were probably like, no.
I'm trying to give. Look at this. I'm trying to give this beautiful.
It looks so pretty.
It's so nice. What an epic place to be. The wall behind me was just rubbish, so I had to. Look at this. My arms are dead. I'm shaking right now. For you guys, of course, it's worth it.
Thank you for making this sacrifice, Ryan.
Exactly.
We appreciate it. It's a great shot. Good talking to you,
You're
man.
welcome,
Have a good one. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Poor Ryan.
Hey, because I was wondering, I'm like, listen, like, he's moving a little bit. You know, I know it's not on the desk. So my man was ISO. It's like the bottom of a curl just holding that thing.
I was going to say. That's like my Pilates instructor would be so impressed with that right now, because that's really where you do a lot of burn. Is like, they're like, okay, and hold for 5, 4.
Yeah, most deaf. Big ups,
3,
Ryan.
and you're like, lady, you said 5. Like, let's keep it moving.
Big ups, Ryan.
I know. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, you have developed a conspiracy theory. This one about Shedeur Sanders. Tell us about it.
He might be the most talked about player in this draft. Easily, right? And I've fallen into that trap for sure. Here's my theory. We're hearing a lot of negative about his interviews when it comes to these teams. And I'm thinking, right, conspiracy theory, that he is sabotaging these interviews on purpose because he don't want to go to the Giants. He don't want to go to Jacksonville. They need a quarterback. He doesn't want to go to New England. I'm jacking these names up. New Orleans.
Yeah.
He wants to drop all the way down to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the only coach that's come out publicly and said, we love what Shedeur did in the interview process. He's this, he's that, he's a third. They are praising him while everyone else is breaking him down right now. I could clearly see him going into an interview and rubbing people the wrong way. His style is different.
Yeah.
Backwards cap, jewelry on. You know, not as buttoned up as a lot of these other guys. I can see that happening, but I'm thinking, man, what if this is part of his master plan? Him and his dad are like, listen, we gonna get you to drop, baby. We gonna get you to drop to 21. You playing with Pittsburgh. All right?
What do you think the AFC executive is? So the AFC executive that told Tom Pelissero, it didn't go great in our interview. He wants to dictate what he's going to do and what's best. He makes you feel small. What would maybe be the AFC team that if you were Shedeur Sanders, you'd be like, I don't want to play here? No way it's the Browns.
It might be the Browns.
Wow.
No one wants to play for the Browns.
Even
no
Deshaun.
one wants to play. Deshaun don't want to play.
Deshaun doesn't even want to play.
He said, hey, rupture that thing one
time.
time. Rupture that. I'm out of here.
Second down. You've been prepping for draft coverage and have a player leapfrogging another in your ranking. Tell us more.
So he leapfrogs in my ranking because I think of the way I would run my offense. And Warren is a great player. Loveland is a great player. I'm picking up Loveland. He has jumped over Warren. Warren is a physical type of tight end. He has big playability in him. But in my offense, and I think in Kubiak's offense as well, that tight end has to be able to move out into the slot, cross the formation, run into the flat. Warren can do it, but I think Loveland is just better at that. Now, if you want a tight end who is just a man muncher, as one of our callers said today.
Matt hates it.
Stop saying it.
He's a man muncher.
He's just munching, right, and blocking guys and taking them down to the ground. That's Warren for you. But in my offense, I need a guy who is good at blocking, but can also create some mismatches. That's what Loveland does.
Man muncher. Third down. What's an excuse you don't like to hear, but in this case is probably valid?
Man, I remember when receivers first started wearing those sticky gloves. I remember watching Mike Williams, USC Mike Williams, catch a football in the back of the end zone at home against Oregon State. Boom. I was actually on a trip to Arizona State when it happened. He catches in the back of the end zone, and the hands are sticky, and the gloves have started to change. Those gloves are no good when they get wet. When they get wet, you're better off taking off your gloves and just using your hands and keep your hands dry with a towel. So I hear one of the best tight ends in the game, Mark Andrews, say, yeah, my gloves are wet when I dropped that football in the championship game. He is right. It is valid, but you don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Because my motto is, if you touch it, you buy it. All you receivers who have dealt with me before, you know that's what I say. It's yours. If you touch it, it is yours. And I just don't like to hear that. We were past that, Mark Andrews. It's almost like we haven't erased it. We won't forget it.
No,
but
forgot.
we weren't talking about it anymore. Now you just brought it back up. You're making an excuse for it. One of the best in the game. I respect him. He is valid, but you just don't want to hear that from your guy.
I also like that it's April, and he's like, so about that AFC Championship game, I've been sitting on this one for a couple months. My hands were really slippery.
You know, his wife was like, just tell him, babe. Just tell him.
Yeah. 4th down. What quarterback have you fallen for when it comes to possible 2nd or 3rd round picks for the Seahawks?
If my man Will Howard drops and the Hawks have a chance, I don't want him to take a quarterback at 18. But if you get down to 52, you get down to 82, and he's still sitting there, now you take a pick and you go ahead and get him. He's physical. He has a good arm. He knows how to win. I love his attitude. The more film I watch, the more I like. Quick release, all that good stuff. Will Howard, if he's available late, that's the guy I want.
Will the Seahawks draft Howard? Because Will Howard. Matt, you look. Do you get it? Will Howard. Because I said will the Seahawks draft.
Isn't it time for What's On Tonight?
Yeah, what's on tonight?
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot.
Sounds so
now,
frustrating.
Here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners take on the Red Sox in Game 2 of their 3-game series. Pregame starts at 2:30 p.m. First pitch at 3:45 right here on Seattle Sports. Speaking of the Mariners, keeping it baseball, farm report coming your way. Rainiers starting pitcher Logan Evans next.
The 2025 NFL Draft tomorrow.
First real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day. With General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Tomorrow, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Music that moves your soul. Shoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that, you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and then people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ Way is The Lee Johnson Auto family.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Hey Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar this Thursday at 6 p.m. to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him this Thursday at 6 p.m. for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are joined now by Rainiers starting pitcher Logan Evans. Logan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. See, there's something I do. I travel a lot, right? I'm in the airport a lot. And if I see someone with some size, I walk up on them and I size them up. And I'm looking at you, 6'4", 215. I'm definitely walking up to you and sizing you up. Was it always baseball for you, or did you play other sports?
That's funny you say that. I definitely get this question a lot. I grew up playing all three sports. Just tried to stay athletic when I was younger. My favorite sport actually is basketball. So I wish I would have been a hooper, but my game was more fit to being on the mound. So I ended up obviously sticking with baseball. But yeah, I grew up playing three different sports.
You a Pistons fan then? You're from Michigan, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. We just took that dub in Game 2. Hopefully, Cade and them will play well in Game 3 back in the 3-1-3. So it's looking good right now.
Cade's a baller, man.
He is. He definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
Logan, you are off to a really solid start in AAA this season, your first dabble at the AAA level. As you make your way up the ranks in the minor leagues, Is there any noticeable difference when you go from level to level, or is it just kind of something that you just kind of worry about yourself rather than maybe the competition you're facing?
Well, first off, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I can give you kind of a mixed answer. I definitely realize the talent level is better by the lineups I face. A lot of these guys now in AAA have been in the show or are on the cusp of making the show. So there's a lot of talented guys here, but I also noticed that, like, I know we preach a lot here in the Mariners org about the 0-0 and the 1-1 counts and all that, but it really is true. If you win those, like, hitters are just still, like, they're still not good, you know? So, yeah, I think that I definitely noticed the lineups are better, but if you get ahead and stay ahead and make good pitches, that you can really get anybody out. It doesn't really matter if you're in low A or triple A. So, yeah, I've tended to notice those things.
Logan, I played a bunch of sports in high school, and I'm infatuated with, like, the sensation, right? When I talk to hoopers, how does it feel like when you're in the zone and you can't miss? Football players, quarterbacks, how does it feel when you don't miss a target? What is it like for you mentally and physically when all your pitches are clicking and you're hitting all your spots?
You know, I actually, funny enough, I just talked to Ben Williamson about this right before he went up, and we've been talking about it, obviously him making his debut and getting into the games, and it's just like a feeling you fiend for. Like, you're so dialed in and you're so concentrated on your work, but yet you're so calm. And for me, like, I do a lot of breath work. I try to come to the field every day and just kind of pop my shoes off, take my socks off, and go grounding and just try to be really present. But that's really, like, the feeling that you get out there when everything's working. You don't really feel like you're trying. There's no thought. I'm kind of just getting the pitch call and just going and just executing it. And it's funny, like, when you're, like, not doing well and you're spiraling, like, people can see you thinking, you know? So, yeah, that's really what I feel is just this, like, calm, almost like you're ready to, like, take a nap. It's kind of weird to explain it like that. Like, you're energized, but you're just so calm. And you just don't feel like you don't feel the fans. You don't feel nothing. You just are executing your plan and just going along with it.
Logan, last year you dabbled in the bullpen a little bit in the middle portion of the season, back to starting this season. What was that time for you like coming out of the pen?
It was awesome in a sense that, like, I learned so much about myself, and I just got to, like, see pitching from a different perspective. Wrapping it back to basketball, I actually, like, grew up like a starter, but one of the years I was like a sixth man. So it was like almost like that feeling, like everybody's kind of in the fire and then you just jump into it and you don't really have time to, like, get in the flow. Like, you got to go, like, right now. But I thought it was cool. Like, up until that point, like you said, I'd started since my junior year at Pitt, and through my first few starts in pro ball, like, I didn't really have, like, a bump in the road. And that's where, like, going to the bullpen, it threw a curveball for me, not only into my routines, but towards the end, I actually, like, got hit around a little bit, and it, like, made me kind of reflect on what I need to do because, like you guys know, baseball is an up and down sport, and it's all about the longevity and consistency that you have. You're going to have bumps in the road. So I thought that really helped me, not only for, like, the now when I was in the bullpen, but for now, like, throughout my career. Like, there's been times I've been hit around and kind of just don't even flinch. I just realized, like, if I'm dialed in on my work that I do every day, that things are going to happen, but over the long period of time, I'm going to succeed.
Say you are getting knocked around. Is there a pitch that you like to lean on, and has that pitch changed throughout the course of your career? Like, maybe started out, you know, I want to throw this slider, and now I'm shifting more into a fastball. Like, how's that evolution happen for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just really learned this probably in spring training. This year was the first time I was like, all right, this is, like, my full commitment. But it is my, like, slider, cutter, curveball. I know a lot of people like will maybe look at my statistics and stuff, and that all 3 of those pitches are tagged as a sweeper. They are 3 different pitches, but when I get into jams, I like to spin. I've always been a kid who is like throwing hard. So everybody like taught me like throw a fastball and that should be your primary pitch. But I just always had the natural ability of making the ball go left and spinning it pretty well. And I got hit around in my first outing in spring, and I believe my second. And I had a talk with Woody, Pete Woodworth, and Cal. And I was like, you know what, like, that's not me, like, because I was throwing so many fastballs. I was like, that's not me. I'm a guy who, like, I don't throw slow by any means, but I'm not one of those guys who's sitting 98 to 100. And my best stuff is my breaking stuff. So I told him, I was like, when I get in jams and when I'm facing teams that are like kind of on my fastball, like let's like spin. And then I went out against the Dodgers and I threw pretty well. I let up like 1 run and had three innings, and it was against like a pretty legit Dodgers lineup. They didn't have Ohtani and Freeman, but they were pretty good. And then I realized like that's me. Like when I'm getting in jams and when I'm free flowing, like I'm throwing everything I got. I'm throwing my changeup, my breaking stuff, my cutter, my fastball. So yeah, I feel like I just learned that it's like spin when I'm running into those problems, but it's a good thing now to notice before hopefully getting up to the majors.
Logan, I've kind of always wanted to know, with Tacoma being in such close proximity to Seattle, how often do you hear from the Mariners scouts or coaching staff, hey, we want you to work on this, we want you to work on that? I mean, a lot of AAA teams are, states away from their major league teams. So with Seattle being so close to Tacoma, do you hear from the Mariners coaching staff often about, what they want you to work on?
Yeah, I think we have like a lot of guys here that are pretty hands-on. Chris Young being like one of the scouts that comes around pretty often, and we got to have a discussion in OKC about just like, for me, like throwing quality finish pitches. So whenever I'm in 2 strikes, like really locating it pretty well. So they told me to work on that. I actually got to talk to Woody after, who do we play? Oh, Sacramento. When I had like my first quality start here, he was talking to me about just like things that he told me to work on during spring, like attacking the zone and all of that thing and having quality finish pitches, like I said. And we got to discuss about that because they were on an off day. So he came down here and was chatting it up with me. But yeah, I would say that we get to talk to a good amount of like scouts/coaches and go over like what they want us to work on. And we call them like player plans or whatever. So they lay out goals and how to like go through those goals and work towards everything. So yeah.
He's Rainiers starting pitcher Logan Evans, man. We appreciate you taking time out of your day, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. That's next.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. What dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? That would be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who's the only Ford dealer in all of Washington to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? You're getting really good at this. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They offer a free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all their new Fords. How about this one? Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit back to you? Only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They've given back over $750,000 to customers who have sold them their cars. Finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for 103 years? You guessed it, Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second Cyberknife in Seattle. Cyberknife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife prostate.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in to the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. What I need to know from Casey the Barber in the 360. Is it okay for me to close my barbershop 30 minutes early tomorrow so I can make it home in time to watch the draft from the beginning? My barbershop is sports themed, so I feel like most customers would understand.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have anyone you trust just to do it, to have them do it? You got a number 2, right-hand man?
Yeah, maybe it's a one-man operation or like
Maybe.
1 or 2, 3, and he's like, we all want to watch.
Yeah, just put it out there early, though. Just be like, listen, Casey ain't working.
What if you have the draft on at work? Because I think the Seahawks it's going to take a while
But
for
he
the
probably
Seahawks
wants to sit down,
Yeah,
have a beer.
Okay. Casey, we say it's fine.
Yep, go do
Yeah,
it.
totally fair. 866-979-3776. Two-part question, says Joe in Bellevue. 17 picks down. Seahawks are on the clock, and they call Bump and Stacy for advice, as they should. 1, is there any scenario in those first picks that you would not be prepared to tell them what to do? And 2, would you agree with each other about who the Seahawks should pick?
I think we would disagree on who they should pick,
I think so, too.
but I am so prepared for this. I'm ready.
What
John,
if John calls
if
you
you
and
need me?
he's like, hey, brother.
I mean, I'll be in the facility. You want me to go to the draft room with you?
Yeah,
I'm
just
there.
pop into the war room.
Like, hey, you need me? Okay.
I got close to the war room one time when I needed to use a bathroom, and there was a long
Did you peek
line.
in there?
It was like I was like literally right up to the curtain of the war room, and someone in like one of the, I think it was not like a scout, it was like a higher up person who like it was like a second-year reporter. So I'm like this 20-something-year-old walking around looking lost. They were like, "What are you looking for?" I was like, "A bathroom." And he was like, "Okay, follow me."
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
He was like, "You can't say that you're back here." I was like, "I won't." Flash to me years later talking about it on the on the radio.
Yeah.
It was just nice. It was a nice thing to do.
I've walked by. Thankfully, like, I know enough people to where as long as I just walk by and dip, they're not going to say anything to me. But if I stop and stare, then they're going to be like, what you doing back here, Bob?
I'd love to know what it's like in there.
It's very calm. What I saw, it's very, I mean, because
Yeah.
it wasn't, their pick wasn't up. I would assume that it gets frantic.
Yeah. But yes, I think we would disagree on our picks. And the first part of the question, would there be any scenario that you wouldn't be prepared to tell them what to do? No, I don't think so.
Nah.
Yeah.
I got answers. What you need?
What I need to know, if Daniel Jeremiah was sizing you up for the draft, what would his cheat sheet be on you?
Below average size, but nowadays 5'11s are getting drafted. So I'd say
He'd
average
say good
size.
slot receiver.
Slot. Top end speed, not great. Acceleration, good.
Yeah.
Solid hands.
That's probably the same thing he'd say for me.
Same thing.
He'd say below average size and speed, not aggressive, off the line, not twitchy.
You sound like an undrafted free agent.
I'd be the one they reach out for. They're like, so are you looking for a coaching internship, or is there any way we can get you off the field? We think you're a liability. Let's see. 866-979-3776. What I need to know, is it acceptable to drink alcohol at a child's birthday party?
Let me tell you one thing. Black folks and brown folks, if your kid has a party, it is now a kid-adult party. People are going to be drinking. Just keep it on low and don't get too crazy.
I think it's perfectly acceptable. I mean, it is not acceptable to be drunk at any part, like way out of the, like it's 2:30 p.m. and you're...
What if it's St. Patrick's Day?
A kid's St. Patrick's Day party.
Yeah, it's happened, I'm sure, somewhere in this world. I'm Irish. I know all about this, Curtis.
866-979-3776. Why does the East Coast have way better food? It depends what you like.
Variety and culture, though. It's like
variety and culture, that's facts.
It's a bunch of, and everything's so close. It's like you can go to all the continents in a 5-mile walk.
I mean, there's good, Curtis, you mentioned it yesterday, like solid teriyaki and some seafood spots here that probably are legitimately really
Can't
good.
get
But
that anywhere else.
I will say, I agree with your overall thing of like, it's just, there's a lot of cultures and there's a lot of options in small areas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 866-979-3776. Bump, last year you talked about sporting a hoodie until it's 80 degrees outside. It feels awfully warm today at 66. Do you still feel that way?
I have a hoodie on now.
That's true, he does.
And I will keep the hoodie on. I'm good. I can hoodie it up until, about 80, 75, 80.
866-979-3776. Someone said, yes, I'll be happy having that beer during the draft, but because it happens around dinner time, is there any food appropriate for the draft? Any food you want.
Yeah, I don't think
draft
there's
food's wide open.
I don't think there's any like draft food that
Yeah.
Like, you have to have soft pretzels during the draft.
Oh, that should be a new trend. Let's see. What I need to know. Who brings more trade value, Drew Lock or Sam Howell?
Drew Lock. Drewski. Yeah. He's got more starts. Still fairly young.
Yeah.
Sam, you got 1 year. Drew's got a few more.
Someone said I'd never go to a kid's party if I wasn't drunk.
Yelling at the kids.
I'll let that person know. All of the text line agrees with them that drinking is completely appropriate at a kid's party. What I need to know, should the Mariners have given Teoscar Hernandez 1 more year like they did with Randy, Garver, Polanco, etc.?
Nah, because Teo obviously wasn't happy here.
No, I think it would have been fitting if Teo was here and not with your Dodgers winning a home run derby. I think I'm wondering why you think Teo should have.
It's perfectly fine.
Teo's happy where he is. I mean, it's good for Teo. He went and won a World Series, but I would have loved to see Teoscar have 1 more year.
He wouldn't hit here. He was in his own head. He's the one that kind of brought it to light.
You don't know.
Hit his eye. He didn't like it.
Know.
Well, I don't think he was gonna want to come back because who knows if he would have accepted the qualifying offer if it was given to him.
What I need to know, who's the starter, who's the setup man, and who's the closer? Stacy Bump Curtis.
Good question.
I feel like Curtis is the starter. I feel like he's the starter.
I'll give you 6.
Me, I'm just throwing gas. I'm closing it out.
So you're the closer?
Yeah, you set it up.
Oh, okay.
Just don't blow it, Stacy, okay? Curtis will start it. Just don't blow it.
First, you guys don't think that I'm going to remember to bring my lunch now that I'm a bring my lunch to work person for day 2, which I did. Then you guys, what was it that you guys were making fun of? Oh, I sent you all invites to my birthday to put it on your calendar, and you all declined it.
I didn't decline
which I thought, that's true, Bump. Thank you.
Well, because Bump hasn't accessed his email yet.
Okay. Then you guys all said, my job, just don't mess up.
That's fine, though. All we need is like 2 innings from you.
Stacey, your birthday's on a Saturday this year.
It wasn't an invite to anything. It was just to put it on your calendar so that you all would know when my birthday was.
I'm sure you'll remind us regardless.
Yeah, obviously. What I need to know. Someone was very disturbed that there was hair in the sink at work, and they want to know if it's ever appropriate to shave at work.
If the bathroom is made for people to prepare, like there's showers in there, there's towels.
Yeah, it's like a locker
personal.
room.
It's a personal
bathroom.
A locker room. Yeah, really acceptable.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thank you to all of our guests today. Logan Evans, Ryan Rowland-Smith, and Jordan Shusterman. Mariners coming your way at 3:45. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
The John Schneider Show
with Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
John, since we talked to you last week, there's a new backup quarterback in town.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
I think it's a great situation. We have 4 guys that we really like. It doesn't preclude us from doing anything in the draft either, and figuring out what's going on there. It's really like, let's get this in the mix. Drew had other opportunities, so we figured we better kind of put a bow on it.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith, and we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball, but today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event, now extended through April 27th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event, extended through April 27th. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Windows are a home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity, internet, and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus 1 unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter.